placard. Keep talking. What rounds McKinney's gonna get drafted in? I'm glad he's a senior and ready for him to graduate. Good there. Keep rolling. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Check, check, check. A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4. Good.
A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's all I can do.
Hey, why don't y'all say something, see if I can hear you? They're off right now? They're muted? Okay.
Are you going to do like an open question session?
I'm going to blue boot with them, blue boot with him, blue boot with him, and then just kind of throw a few things out.
The only thing is it'd be helpful if I know who's going to talk in that open section.
Okay. Well, we'll go back left to right with that as well. So everything we're going to go left to right. Okay. The same way it did with softball. Morgan got out of it last year, got to go last. But that And good morning, everyone, and I'd like to welcome you here to our inaugural, can't call it the first annual because we don't know if we'll do it again next year. It depends on how many people show up, I guess. But the inaugural Columbus County Spring Sports Coaches Interview Session, where we give a little bit of love to all the sports that are going on in Columbus County. I know the football coaches have a big one over in Fairmont, or have the past several years, but we decided that people might be interested in what some of the other sports coaches had to say, and we also give the coaches an opportunity to bring a player if they'd like to. So, without any further ado, and I know that at least a couple of you in here have bigger fish to fry a little bit later on today, so you'll want to get out of here. We'll start with South Columbus. Coach Bradley Strickland, and brought, I think, just his newly elected team captain, Landon Stocks, with him. Good morning.
Good morning. Yes, sir.
Looking at last year's roster, a lot of seniors on last year's roster. Covered a lot of South Columbus games and some pretty heavy graduation losses. Anything you'd like to say about some of the guys that have gone on to do other things?
Yeah, so we lost 6 seniors last year, 2 of which are on the bump, and that's going to be big shoes to fill. Garrett's right now at Francis Mary, and he's doing a very good job, and he's actually getting some time there and had some good outings so far. I'm losing a third baseman from last year and pretty much my whole outfield, so, and starting catcher. So we got some spots we got to fill this season.
What's it looking like pitching-wise? I mean, you know, you more so than anyone else, maybe definitely in the county, maybe in the conference, probably lost more of your innings pitched last year than anyone else. I know you got Devin Penny, left-hander, that has had some innings for you in the past. Who are you looking at as far as pitching-wise?
Well, Devin definitely. He was my number 3 last year, and he's going to definitely be one of the go-to guys this year. Anytime he steps on mound, it's going to be, give me all you got. But we'll pitch by committee with a new rule. We're going to have to get more guys pitching and more guys in spots like that. Landon's going to do some pitching for us this year and play short. We'll have Jay Wright. He'll be pitching a little bit for us and playing second. Harrison Gore, he'll be kind of utility guy. He'll be pitching, playing short and second. And Robbie Spencer, he played right for me last year. He's going to be moving around, playing some different spots this year. So we're going to pitch by committee every ball game this year.
How are you behind the plate? Because you're using some inexperienced pitching at the varsity level, so it's important to have somebody behind the plate to handle those guys. Yes,
Riley Wilson, he's going to be crowned, I guess, our starting catcher this year. He got a few innings last year, got some time last year, so, and he won't be new behind the plate. I mean, so he's had some experience, and he knows what I expect and what's got to be done in order for us to be successful. But he'll be behind the plate this year, and he'll be the guy in charge of keeping pitchers in line. So.
Let me ask Landon this question. Shift the microphone around. Landon, you were a member of a Stallion team last year that progressed farther, I think, than any Stallion team in history had in the playoffs, and made it up to Edenton, where I cut the lights out on you at the end of the ball game and got screamed at. But does that kind of help set the bar for Stallion baseball now that you've had a taste for that's what you want to get back to, that level?
Yeah, it sets the bar kind of high because we want to get to that level, if not even further this year. And that's where I want to be at and try my hardest and try to lead the team in the right way.
We were talking about you being elected the captain.
Mm-hmm.
What do you feel your responsibilities as a captain are, especially with the number of seniors that were lost last year as far as your leadership role goes?
Well, all the seniors got to step up, and everybody really has to step up. And I'm just going to try to lead everybody and encourage them, pick them up when they're down, and just help everybody out.
He mentioned you as possibly doing some pitching this year. Do you enjoy pitching, or had you rather just play shortstop all the time? I mean,
Yeah,
you know.
I enjoy pitching. I really ain't the type of pitcher that gets real nervous when I pitch, so I just go up there and do my thing and just pitch the baseball.
What do you enjoy most about playing baseball?
Well, I've been doing it since I was 5. I just love it. It's just about the competitive and competition of it.
Cool. Let me go back to Coach Strickland a minute. You were talking about several different players, your middle infielders. I know you've got Landon, Jay Wright, that were a strong combination up the middle for you last year, but also you're talking about using them as pitchers. Does that concern you any at all, that you're breaking up that infield combination some because you've got to find pitching from somewhere else?
It does. Anytime you move two guys that's been playing together and you put somebody, they got the gel. Right? Landon and Jay have been playing together a long time. They know kind of. You always want players to communicate and talk. But if Jay's going to flip a ball, Jay knows that Landon's going to flip it. If he's going to throw it, Jay knows Landon's going to throw it. So anytime you put somebody new in the mix, there's always that part that scares you. See, they got to communicate more, and that's what we've been focusing on a lot in the fall and in the winter is communication on everything we're doing. So it does. There's a little question mark there, but it's what we got to do. So.
And that's why you're working now, right?
That's why we're working on it.
There you go. All right, let's slide over here to Coach Jason Jones, West Columbus High School. Coach Jones in his first year as the varsity baseball coach, but certainly no stranger to West Columbus baseball, has served as the junior varsity coach and been there as athletic director, so just knows all the ins and outs of what's going on at West Columbus. Coach, looking down the list, Osley Johnson, Madison Benton, Marvin Edge, Brandon Merritt, Trey Benton, all losses from last year's teams. A lot of names that people recognize that played key roles for the Vikings. But when you get down the list, there are a number of players that are returning that have a lot of experience for West Columbus as well.
Yeah, we obviously had some huge losses there. I think the majority of everything that you just mentioned was a starter, at least for the majority of the season. Osley did a heck of a job in non-conference games last year. Trey did what Trey does. He's gone on now, playing at East Carolina. He's down at Ole Miss this weekend, so hopefully things go well for him down there. And Brandon's gone on to Lewisburg, getting the opportunity to play at Lewisburg, a top-tier program, a JUCO program that out there in the country, recognized all over the country. So, those guys are very difficult to replace. But what we do have coming back from last year's team is very skilled. We've been going through things going back to December, and I'm very pleased with where we're at right now. The biggest question I have is loaded the schedule up, and I have at least one arm that's down right now. Marco Torres, he still hasn't been cleared medically from the knee injury in football, and that's unfortunate. He could give us some very valuable innings especially early on. So we've looked it kind of like Coach Strickland said, in every direction for guys that can throw. You'll see Dawson Elliott on the mound at some point this year. You'll see Gage Hammond's probably on the mound for an inning or so here or there. And both those guys pitched for me before in JV,
Right.
and the thing that you're going to get when the two of them go out there, especially Dawson, you're going to get a bulldog on the mound. I mean, there's nobody he's not going to fear anybody when he steps on the mound. He's going to go out there and try to do whatever he can do to get us out of that inning as quickly as possible.
C.J. Coleman back this year?
Yes, sir.
And I thought last year he was probably one of the more underappreciated pitchers in the county with the performances I saw him. You know, Trey, of course, got a lot of recognition and should have, and a lot of focus this year on Cody and Cole Benton. But CJ provided you with a lot of good innings, so he should be someone that you can count on a lot this year.
Well, I hope he's ready for it because we're going to lean on him. And he knows that already. He's looked, I mean, to be throwing in January and February, he's actually looked very crisp. Everything is loose, very mechanically sound, keeping the ball down, added a pitch, and I just added it in the last week and a half, been toying around with it for about a month, and slung it in the bullpen the other night, and it's a pretty good pitch.
Experience behind the plate, Hunter Norris back.
Yeah, Hunter will be back. You know, going down today, playing in a three-way scrimmage, probably sneaking another couple people in behind the plate. You know, Jerry Locklear is a junior that'll be coming in. He'll do a little bit of catching, and if we have to, we'll go to Tanner Henson as well for some catching. Both of those guys have the ability to catch, but it takes a special person to catch. And I say that because that's what I did, and I was the dirtiest joker on the field when it was done with.
And nothing's changed about that.
No,
either.
not at all. I did take a shower this morning, though.
I know you guys were talking about Legion baseball before we got on. Gage Hammond's had a good Legion season last year. Don't you think that benefited him quite a bit, and he should be one of the top returning players in the conference?
Yes.
Especially with the bat.
If you listen to both of them talk about what they learned this summer playing Legion ball, you can tell that it was a very valuable experience but for both of them, for Dawson as well as Gage. You know, I don't think Dawson got to play quite as much. Yeah, I mean, it's Legion baseball. It's 9-inning games. You know, you're going out there trying to win everything you can, so it is what it is. But both of them learned a lot from him, from his coaching staff as well. So, you know, they were very appreciative of the time they got, and I'm very appreciative because I tried my best to get both of them to play.
All right. Appreciate it. All right, let's move down to him, Coach Brett Harwood from Whiteville High School, and let's see if I can bring a tear to Brett's eye. Missing from last year's team, starting shortstop Taylor Smith, starting outfielder Nadir Carr, your designated hitter Hunter Harwood, Hunter Cartret, who played both second and third base, Connor Granger at first, Grayson Ward in center field, and Nick Hood, who caught for you the first part of the year. That's quite a few losses. And speaking of Nick, I personally, and have talked to several other people, feel like if Nick hadn't been injured, you'd be sitting on 3 consecutive 1A championships.
Yeah, it'd been nice. I don't think these guys are going to feel sorry for me, anybody else in the state. But, you know, that's a lot of at-bats. That's a lot of at-bats. We lost a lot of experience. 6 of those guys were with me for 4 years. When they come up as freshmen, they come right to the varsity team. And, you know, we lost Nick halfway through the season. It definitely, you know, made our lineup different. You know, he was probably as a good a catch and throw catcher that's been around a while, and probably had a chance to sign out of high school as a catcher. But you know, it was unfortunate. But you know, we did all kind of stuff last year, Coach. You know, you follow us. We had switching outfielders in the middle of innings based on whether it was a left-handed hitter or right-handed hitter because Hunter Cartret couldn't throw. But, you know, we survived, and but I will say it's kind of a breath of fresh air with these new kids we got. Not that I didn't coach hard last year, but a lot of times people don't realize you coach harder, probably your best coaching job when you're younger and maybe not as good.
Right.
And the big thing for me off of that list is we didn't lose but maybe 5-10 innings on the mound, and we all know that's, especially with the new rules, that's where it starts at.
Well, I know we talk a lot, and we know Whiteville baseball is pitching and defense. Just one more mention quickly. Taylor Smith stepped in last year for Turner Brown, did an outstanding job at shortstop. I think exceeded pretty much everyone's expectations defensively at shortstop. And Connor Granger at first base, underappreciated in the fact that who knows how many throwing errors that he saved over there as well. So we talk about, there were losses offensively, but defensively, those are going to be some big shoes to fill. Who are you looking at, in coming in and replacing some of your infielders?
We're going to be young. We're going to be young in some key spots. Right now, Jake Harwood's at shortstop for us. Dylan Hamilton's our second baseman right now. Along with Will Henson, he's still working there some. But we've had to move some people around, and catching wise for us, it's going to be different. Brooks caught McKenzie last year towards the end of the year, and he'll do that again this year as of now. And we got a couple more freshmen working behind the plate. So those are some key areas, key positions for some young kids, and we just got to hope we strike out a lot of people.
You mentioned Brooks Baldwin behind the plate. I like to use the term Swiss Army knife. I guess Brooks Baldwin is your Swiss Army knife. One game you may see him behind the plate, the next game in the infield, and the next game on the mound. I guess the only thing he doesn't do, he doesn't play the outfield for you.
Hey, not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
It hadn't happened yet, but Brooks is very versatile, and that's a testament. Everywhere, anywhere we put him on the field, he knows what he's supposed to do and what everybody else is supposed to do, and he's from his background, that's to be expected. He's been coached well, and he's not by me but by others, but he does whatever we ask him to do, and with a smile on his face.
And you mentioned this, and I didn't want to lead with it because I think people expect when Whiteville baseball is talked about to talk about your pitching, but as you said, nobody's going to feel any sympathy for you because when I went down the list, Mackenzie Gore is back, Brooks is back, Dylan Lawson is back, and Jake Harwood got some as a freshman, and it seems like you've always had a freshman that's been able to step up and get some innings for you as well. You're pretty well stocked pitching wise.
Well, we feel good where we're at now if we can stay healthy. It's obviously Mackenzie's McKenzie. I mean, that's a given. But for me, I think Dylan's gotten better. He's gotten stronger, and we throw strikes. We have in the past, and that's key. And don't beat ourselves. And so, the three guys we got coming back that are proven have done that in the past, and hopefully they'll do it again this year.
All right, let's move down here to our left to East Columbus head coach Brad Smith. Coach, good morning.
Good morning.
Chase Lewis, Kate Andrews, Hunter Reeves, Thomas Yates missing from last year's team as far as graduation losses. We've talked about some people that have been underappreciated in the county as far as their baseball goes. Chase Lewis, I think, fit into that category. He was a much better ball player for you, especially his senior year, than a lot of people realized, wasn't he?
He was a main part for the several years there, and now he's at Southeastern, and I think he's being a utility player for them guys right now. But it's always tough to replace seniors that have played multiple roles, and he was a guy that could come in and give you a couple shutdown innings, and also, he was a mainstay in the middle of the infield for, 3 years. So it's always tough.
I felt last year, the playoffs have 64 teams, and it's overall record that gets you in, and you are somewhat handicapped because of the conference that you're in. I felt very much like there were at least 32 1A teams in the playoffs that if you had Traven Squires on the mound in a one-game situation with them, you could have beaten at least half the teams that made the 1A playoffs. You're just somewhat handicapped by the fact that you're in a conference with these guys and some strong teams from Robinson County. And even though you were better last year and can be better again this year, sometimes the record does not reflect that the program is improving.
You're right, and we did. We've made steps over the past several years, and we're continuing to work hard. And the guys are working hard. They want to make the playoffs. And last year, I did feel like we were possibly a playoff contending team, and hopefully this year we can take care of a few of those games that was borderline for us, where we left a few men stranded or whatever the case may be. We walked a few more people than what we should have. Maybe we can tighten that up and get in there this year.
The pitch count and everything talked about a lot. So pitching depth important. Who you plan to use on the mound this year?
Right now, the main guys on the mound for this year is Squires. He's going to be pretty good. We have Bray McKeithen, Bradley Olson. He got a lot of innings last year. Daniel Wells is a junior that moved up last year from JV. We've got a sophomore that's going to see some time, Nick McLam. I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. I can't remember everybody, but we've got 3 or 4 we're going to run out there, and like Coach Harwood said, we're going to pound a zone and play the soft contact.
Bray McKeithen, when he's not on the mound behind the plate, or are you going in a different direction?
He could see some time at shortstop this year. He's going to bounce around, and you're going to see him in a lot of different spots. We've got 2 juniors that right now is looking at getting a lot of the catching time, but you never know where he might pop up. He can play a lot of different places for us. He's going to be a pretty good asset to us.
What'll be a successful season for East Columbus baseball this year, in your opinion? I'm sure you have goals set, but making the playoffs, conference finish, what?
One of my main goals, I want a home playoff game. I want to have a good enough record where we're having a home playoff game, at least for the first round. And it's something these guys can. It's feasible, I think. Playoff standings. Conference standings. We want to compete. We want to be in the top 4 of our conference. We feel like we can be there. If not now, we're going to get there soon.
I'm going to go down the line with this one. I'm going to start with you, since we've already got the camera pointed in that direction. When you're scheduling, and you got to have your conference games. When you're scheduling non-conference, do you do that a little bit with the fact in mind that overall record plays into whether or not you get into the playoffs?
Well, this year I kind of took a different approach. We're going a kind of half and half. We kind of did a little bit.
I saw Hoggard and Scotland County on your schedule.
But at the same time, you want to challenge your guys to where if you get in the playoffs, you want to be competition ready. And so we did change our schedule up a little bit. And I think I scheduled around what I have as far as pitching wise. I want to be able to run my older guys out there as much as I can, and I feel really good about our schedule. We're going to be challenged, and we've got some games in there. If we play up to our capabilities, and we should be able to compete well.
Coach Strickland, you scheduling-wise, do you take into account that overall record is, other than the conference champion, is what gets you in and gets you seated?
Well, that bit us in the butt last year. We played a tougher non-conference schedule last year, and we had the same record as the team we played in the first round, and we had to travel 4.5 hours. But I know our strength of schedule was tougher than theirs.
Right.
So yes, you take that into account, but no, because I want them competing. It's no fun when you're able to beat up on a team. Yeah, your batting average might go up. Yeah, you might get guys in, but that's not what makes you better. I mean, you need to be battle ready in any situation you come into. And I think our conference, for the most part, does that. I feel like we got one of the toughest conferences in the state of North Carolina. And I might be wrong or arrogant in saying that, but I think we do. But no, yeah, you take that into account, but no, you don't either. You've got to play and you got to get you guys ready, because if you want to make that trip, if you want to go the distance, then you got to be ready to go the distance with the toughest and the baddest out there. So, yeah, you got to test your boys and you got to make sure they're ready to go.
Coach Jones, scheduling, West Columbus.
I've always been one. I mean, if you look back at the football schedules that I put together, my personal feelings about it is you play anybody that calls and says they want to play, and if they're the best team in the state or if they're the worst team in the state. I don't get a lot of the worst teams in the states, especially over there. So, we don't have any non-conference super heavy hitters or anything like that. We don't have any New Hanovers. We don't have any Scotlands, Richmonds, anybody like that. But, it definitely wasn't on purpose. If they call, we'll play.
And Coach Harwood, I looked at your schedule, and all you've got are cupcakes non-conference, it looks like.
Coach, I think these guys set my schedule up. I don't know.
I think what you've run into the past 2 or 3 years is simply you have to find somebody that will play you.
It's been different. I think a lot of people think McKenzie pitches every day, but that's not the case, and we've always played a good schedule. You know as much as anybody my philosophy with that, and we want to compete just like the rest of these guys. So we want to play good competition and be battle tested. And I just hope I don't destroy some confidence for some young kids early this year. But that's part of the growing process. And I just think you get better by playing better people.
Better to be battle tested during the regular season and have to go on the road in the third round than play a simple schedule in the third round, first time you get challenged, right?
Right, and a little bit what Coach Strickland was talking about with our conference. I mean, last year for us, the arms we faced in our conference were better than anything we've seen in the playoffs. Yeah. And I think the pitching depth in the conference this year again will be good. And so, I think all of us have the same philosophy as far as scheduling goes.
Coach Smith, favorite to win the conference?
Favorite to win the conference?
Yeah.
East Columbus.
All right. Okay. Favorite to come in second then?
We'll say Coach Harwood.
Coach Strickland, same question. Who you think the favorite on paper is to win the conference?
That's a loaded question, but I'm going to say South Columbus.
Okay.
We're going to win the conference, and Whiteville's going to finish second.
Okay. I understand where all you guys are going with this. So, Coach Jones, I'm not going to ask you who's going to win. I'm going to ask you who's going to finish second.
I'll follow suit with those guys. That's definitely our goal is to win the conference, and just sitting in this room, any team can win it. So, I guess
Coach Harwood, you can't say you're going to win and you're going to finish
Sounds
second.
Like it's going to be a three-way tie between those guys for first place.
And it's really hard to tell because there are so many unknowns about. I want to throw a name out there: St. Paul's. St. Paul's is the biggest improvement in the state last year and got virtually everybody coming back, and with open enrollment in Robinson County, who knows what they may have even more this year. I think every one of you would agree that you'll see them as one of the contenders, right?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Final thing, and then I'll let you guys go. Like I said, we moved this one up a little bit because I know that Whiteville and West Columbus are both involved in scrimmages today. A lot has been said about the pitch count rule. A lot has been talked about the new ejection policy, and I've written a whole lot about it. Not going to go into a lot of detail with it, but my personal feelings are I don't see where it's going to have a tremendous effect on what you guys do. I mean, you're going to have to monitor your pitching some more, and a couple of you may need to have a get-back coach to kind of steer you to that midpoint between the baselines when you start out towards home plate after the umpire. But from what I see, it's kind of going to be same old, same old. Brad?
Yeah, I think the only thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna draw a line on my field to say, hey, coach, don't go past this line, and just wait for them to come to you.
Right.
It, you know, when it first came out, it was kind of scary. You know, everybody's, oh man, a pitch count. You know, this is going to totally screw us up. No, because if you're doing things the right way, you're already governing your guys, and you know your guys well enough to know what their limits are, and you're going to look out for the well-being. And these guys in here, they do a good job of that. You know, they've all had really good arms, move on to the next level. You know, and going to the next level. And they're not coming out banged up or with arm surgery or anything else. So everybody here has done a pretty good job and always has.
Coach Strickland, any concerns about either one of the new rules?
Not really. I think it's more work on the coaches. I think there's going to be an issue on, you know, and not necessarily anybody in this room. I feel like we all get along and we can, you know, but if I pull out a pitcher at 75 pitches, and I'm going to take care of my pitcher's arms. I don't care what the situation is.
Right.
Their health and well-being is more important, and I think all of us feel that way. Our players' health and well-being is more important than any win or loss. But if I've got 75 pitches on a guy and I'm going to pull him out, and then the opposing coach has 76 and they're the home team, well, if we got to go by the home book, then, you know, I'm screwed.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's going to be the biggest issue. I think, you know, we can all sit there and keep a pitch counter on every guy, but I guarantee you at the end of a ball game, there's a good chance all of us have a different number.
Yeah.
And so I think that's going to be a problem. In terms of ejection, I think you'll see the ejection rate go up because they don't want you to go approach the umpire now, so that means more hollering from the dugout, which isn't good. So it'll be on us again to, hey, be quiet, get back, act right, you know, whatever it might be. But it's going to be tougher because I'm going to go out and I'm going to protect my kids if I feel like something's wrong. And every man in this room and every man worth the salt is going to do the same thing because I spend a bunch of time with my players and I love them, just like everybody up here. So I think you'll see the ejection rate go up, and I don't think we'll have a problem with the pitch count, really. I mean, we're going to all take care of our arms.
Coach Jones?
I kind of agree with Bradley on the ejections going up. I mean, baseball coaches are notorious for flying out of the dugout and going straight to whichever umpire it is they have an issue with, and now all of a sudden you're gonna, you know, and that's, you know, that's us being baseball guys. I mean, you know, like even I remember hearing Q say it, nobody else gets the opportunity to do that. Well, you know, I was halfway out on the football field halftime when I was coaching football, arguing with this, that, and the other or something, and I never got ejected for it. I got flagged for it a few times, but you know, there's no flags in baseball. I mean, it's going to be a one chance or you're gone. So I'm with him on that. I think ejections go up. As far as pitch count, we keep track of our pitches. Like he was saying, you know, the only thing that you know you kind of wonder about is how are we gonna make sure that everybody is on the same accord. I mean, do you just agree at the beginning of the game, hey, let me know what your pitch count is at the end of the game, and that's what we'll plug in, this, that, and the other, that type of thing. But, you know, I don't really like the rule. I don't have a problem against it. But like I told you before, 14-year-old kid that throws 75 versus a 18-year-old kid that throws 75. It's a big difference in those two kids, and each kid's going to be different. That 18-year-old throws 75 can probably throw every day. If he can throw it in a Dixie cup, use him. I mean, it is what it is.
Coach Harwood, I know you're genetically disposed to confrontations with the umpire. You come by that honestly in your DNA, but serious. Well, that was somewhat serious. Any concerns about either one of the rules?
No, I mean, really, the pitch count doesn't concern me. I mean, all of us guys have, and I haven't seen abused. I haven't seen pitchers abused, you know, from any of us. And, you know, we take care of our arms. And, you know, the biggest thing is what all these guys said, you know, the discrepancy of numbers. And to be honest, Coach, during the game, I got enough to worry about and trying to count those guys' pitches. I really do. I probably won't. And I'm probably not going to count your pitches. I'm going to tell you that right now. Because I don't care. That's your team. You do what you want to do with them. As far as the ejection rule, or the new rule, we got to go to the X and ask for permission to talk. And maybe we need a side judge in baseball where they sit in our dugout now and we can relay messages from him. You know, football does have a side judge, I think. So, you know, I think it's just that's not baseball. That's treating us like babies, and you know, hey, they had a rule. I've been confined and I've been ejected, and they both worked fine before now.
Okay. We're going to stay on this side. We're going to go from right to left to end this up and just give you an opportunity, final comments that you'd like to say. And I'm looking forward to a really good baseball season. We've just finished putting together our broadcast schedule. We're looking at doing somewhere between 20 and 24 high school games involving all of you guys, and just looking forward to it. And just Brett, anything that you'd like to say to finish this up, and we'll go back in the other direction.
Well, first, I want to thank you, Coach. You know I always do. You do a great job and covering baseball in Columbus County, all sports. But, you know, it's the first time I got to do this and making me feel like, you know, I'm somebody, which I'm really not. So thank you. But, you know, I have a lot of passion for Columbus County baseball and what we do as a whole. You know, sometimes we get separated as Whiteville, and but for the most part, when kids leave here and go play, they're known from being from Columbus County, and what this is a hotbed area for baseball, and you know, we work hard. All these guys work hard, and you know, I'm proud. I grew up here, and I'm proud of the baseball and the baseball tradition, not only at Whiteville but here in Columbus County, and I'm excited. I'm ready to go to North Brunswick today and play and see how bad we are. So I'm looking forward to that. But you know, I good luck to all you guys. You know, I hope that we represent Columbus County well, Whiteville well, except when you guys play us.
All right, Jason.
I'd like to second what he said and thanking you guys, both you and Kelly sitting back there behind the camera. You guys do a tremendous amount of work throughout the entire year covering different sports. And then, you know, just looking forward to the season. First season, head baseball coach, inherited a program that knows how to work and has a lot of skill in it. So, hopefully we can continue what we were doing and try to improve a little bit, try to get a little bit better each and every day. Keep on rolling.
All right, Coach Strickland. Since this is the last time I'll be able to interview you, since you consider me the kiss of death.
Well, there's a lot of superstitions in baseball, and there's just you don't look gift horse in the mouth, and you don't you know, you do the same thing all the time. So, but I've enjoyed it and I appreciate it. And I want to thank both of y'all for your time. As coaches, we put a lot of time in. You know, with y'all covering our games, you put a lot of time in that people don't know about. So I appreciate that, and I speak for all of us when I say that. And I piggyback on them. I played for Coach Harwood. You know, I played with Coach Smith, and I know Coach Jones. You know, I ain't played with him or anything else, but it does. It means a lot whenever you see a kid from this area go on and play at the next level. It means a lot to me whenever we're watching the brackets and you seeing, you know, teams from the county moving through the bracket. You know, every time I'm going to pull against Whiteville, that's just what I'm supposed to do, you know. I mean, when we're playing and everything else. But whenever he's making a run for it in the playoffs, I'm on that Whiteville bandwagon. I mean, I am, because I think the world of him, and I'm going to pull for him. Same thing with East Columbus or everything else. I'm always be on the opposite side for him. We're always going to be rivals. But at the end of the day, when he's playing somebody else, I'm going to be on his bandwagon, and same thing with Coach Jones. So I wish all of y'all the best of luck throughout the season, and I thank you for your time today.
Okay, thank you. And last and not least.
Yeah. Just to echo what Brett said, man, you almost make me feel like I'm in the BB&T Jamboree or something like that, man. I'm up here.
Well, that was the purpose of the whole thing.
Interview, you know. But y'all do a great job. You know, broadcasting what we do, and like you said during basketball season, man, you got one of your basketball games, you had like 9,000 views.
Actually, ended up over 14,000. Actually, yeah.
Yeah, and that's great, man. I mean, because we've got people all over, and you're just promoting what we do. But just like what everybody said, we're egging to go, man. It's we've been working for quite a while now, and this is time to see the fruits of our labor, I guess you could say. And to echo what they said, you know, Columbus County has always put out a pretty good product on baseball fields in order to compete and move players on to the next level. And it always, and I'm a product of that, and a lot of people here are. And it does me good the same way as what they do is see these kids move on and compete at the next level and become good young men, you know, being good citizens and everything else. But we're excited and wish everybody luck.
Well, thank everybody for giving up part of their Saturday morning to do this. I've enjoyed talking with you all the time, but I think this is a great thing for people to see and give baseball some of the exposure here that it certainly deserves in Columbus County, along with the rest of the sports that we're going to do today. So that's going to do it for our baseball segment, and we'll be back in a few minutes, and we'll get started with the softball coaches. Okay, good morning and welcome to our inaugural Columbus County Spring Sports interview session. And this time we're doing with the softball coaches here in Columbus County. And first of all, I'd like to thank everyone for giving up part of your Saturday morning to come and be with us today and talk about your programs and some very successful programs that we have here in Columbus County in softball, and we're going to do this alphabetically, even though she's opposed to it, and she's still sitting with us, so Morgan Jacobs has not run out the door yet. East Columbus softball. Morgan, season ended last year with a loss to the eventual 1A state champion Princeton team in a ball game that you were competitive with down to the very end. I'm not trying to make you cry, but that sets the bar pretty high for East Columbus softball. How do you feel about last season?
Last season I had a lot of seniors which lost this year, so that's going to hurt us. But I had a good team last year. They worked really hard for me. So I'm just hoping this year my seniors coming up is going to step up.
And I know that just some of the names looking at your roster from last year: Kaylee Paul, Summer Williamson, Kirkland Wayne, Olivia Kissam, Simone Spalding, Marlena Saya Campbell, and Marlena McClure did not graduate, but she's not back at East this year. So some names that did fill a lot of spots for you, but you've got people like Kelsey Carroll, who is with you and mans a very important position behind the plate, and Chelsea Graham and Izzy Lennon, Valerie Carter, Kaylee Patrick, all coming back. So it's not like the cupboard is bare, right?
No, but still a few spots that we need to fill.
One thing that the softball coaches don't have to worry about that the baseball coaches do, there is no softball pitching limitation because of how the motion of the arm, and it's not supposed to be the strain and whatever. Who are you looking at for the primarily eating up the innings for East Columbus this year?
Probably Valerie Carter.
And how much did she pitch last year?
She pitched quite a bit. Her and Kaylee Paul pretty much split it. So
what are you looking at as a number two behind her? Someone with previous varsity experience or someone up in the junior varsity?
No, Mihaela Barsh.
Okay.
Yep. So we're short this year pitching-wise. My pitching staff is a little short this year, so we're going to make it work with what we got.
So you're going to have to rely on offense and playing good defense behind your pitching staff.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Offensively, who were some of the names that are going to be leaders for the Lady Gators offensively, you think?
Kelsey Carroll, Kaylee Patrick. I don't know. We'll see. Valerie Carter. But that's about it right now.
Middle infield, shortstop, second base. I think you had seniors in both of those places last year. Olivia and Kirkland, who up the middle defense important in baseball, softball, whatever. So who are you looking at possibly moving in there?
Izzy at 2, and I'll have a sophomore Ariana Daniels at short.
Okay. All right, slide the microphone over. Let me talk to Kelsey a minute. Hey, good morning.
Morning.
All right. Excited about the upcoming season?
I am excited.
What's the best thing about playing softball?
I've been playing ball my whole life, so just like not only the sport, like just being with your friends, hanging out, it's fun.
And being a part of a team last year that made a deep run in the playoff, does that make you that much hungrier to do it again this year?
I'm excited about this team. Like, we have a lot of potential. It's just a matter if we play together and use our ability the right way.
Okay. Anything you would like to tell us about Coach Morgan Jacobs' coaching style? Is she a real disciplinarian, or does she kind of pat you on the back, or a little combination of both?
She's pretty laid back for the most part. Sometimes she likes to get up and yell a little bit, but we got to really push her to do that. But practice is laid back. We do what we're supposed to do without her fussing a whole lot. So.
Now, as far as your playing style, are you a leader from a let's go get 'em and rah rah or whatever? Or do you let your actions kind of lead the team?
I'm a little bit of both. At practice and stuff, I just kind of do whatever, like my actions, I would say. But in the game, I like to be loud and cheerful.
I see her nodding her head. Give her back the microphone just a minute. Now that she's had an opportunity to say that, do you agree with her assessment of you and your coaching style?
I do. I do agree.
Okay. Are there others on the team that are the big rah-rah type, that when the team's down or behind that really, get after everybody to get with it?
No, just Kelsey.
Just Kelsey.
Pretty much.
Okay. Well, that's good that you know who you can depend on to do that then.
Just Kelsey.
Okay. All right. Well, you've done an excellent job leading off, and we'll be
Thanks.
back to you in a moment, okay?
Okay.
All right. Next, we're going to move over to the table with the black tablecloth. By the way, we've got the school part colors kind of matching up with here, making it easy to know where to sit. And Coach Scott Johnson in his second season at South Columbus. Coach Johnson, the 2A team here in the county, and sometimes the success that you see in the regular season, you end up in the playoffs and you haven't had real favorable matchups at South Columbus the last couple of years because you've run into teams that have either played for or won state championships.
Absolutely. So, they're kind of the measuring stick with the 2A is, we played last year Bunn, who actually eventually lost to the eventual state champ, and then a year before that was South Granville, who, we lost to. I wasn't here at that time,
Right.
but I was at that game, and, they won as well, so.
You've got a lot of people returning, though, from that team last year. I know Lindsey Jones at first base and Sandra Jacobs in the outfield, but still a lot of experienced people returning and have playoff experience as well. So that's got to bode well for the Stallions this season.
Yeah, we're looking forward to, seeing what we can do. Have a lot of, like you said, people that have are returning, girls that have been in the program for 3 years, and now this will be their fourth. And really excited to see what we can do. Some people having to step up and take some leadership roles. I had a really good senior class last year that kind of bought into a different coaching style, different system, and our seniors this year kind of picked up where they've left off, and we're excited to see what we can do.
And one of those seniors you brought with you, Alex Chestnut, and if slide the microphone over to her and let Alex give us a couple of comments. Alex, looking forward to the upcoming softball season.
I'm excited about it.
And what's your leadership style as a senior? He said, senior, take that leadership responsibility. More of a vocal or action, and a little combination of both.
I'm more of an action, not really vocal.
Which we could tell by your short answer. So, yeah, that's fine. Now, what position do you play primarily?
Second base.
Second base is. I was going to ask Coach Johnson this question, but I'm going to ask you, and then he can respond as well. As your infield, when we talked with the high school baseball coaches, they were talking a lot about a lot of position shifting that's going to have to go on because they're looking for more pitching. Are you going to be, as far as you know, primarily at second base, and is your infield pretty well set who's going to be at first, second, short, and third, and not moving around as much?
I think our infield is pretty set, except our first base. Our pitchers play first base.
So just alternating in there, that type of thing. Okay. What do you enjoy most about playing softball?
I think I enjoyed the friendship the most.
What do you consider you're better, defensive or at the plate?
I like being at the plate.
Oh, everybody likes to hit. Just all of us like me couldn't hit, so that's why I never really enjoyed it that much. Now, yeah, slow pitch softball, but when you sped it up, quite a bit different. Let me grab Coach Johnson again. Do you see that as an advantage when you're able to go with that set infield group, set person behind the plate, and not have to make a whole lot of shifting around?
Well, coming from a baseball background, definitely. But with softball, you can get, one pitcher can eat up a lot of innings
Right.
for you. So, I think it's an advantage to have some consistency in knowing where to line up and how to be. But you always want to put your best athletes where they're going to benefit you the most. So most of the time that's up the middle, because 80% of the balls are hit in the gaps there. So from gap to gap. So we want to be strong at the middle. And returning Haley Sarvis and also Alex, two seniors, that'll help us out a whole lot. And then we also have a senior behind the plate and Maddie Johnson, and we'll have a senior or two that'll be in the outfield, either in center field or in left field. Left field. So between those, we've got a lot of experience, and defensively we should, I feel like that's going to be our strong point.
Okay. All right, let's move down here to Coach John Browning in his first season as the West Columbus softball coach, taking over from Caroline Newman. And, Coach, it's really kind of nowhere to go but up with the West Columbus softball program. What's got to be done, in your opinion, to get West Columbus moving in the same direction that the other programs in the county are going?
I think the key is on our end of the county, getting girls at a younger age excited about playing softball. Most successful programs, their players play travel ball. They play throughout the year. And we're starting to trend that way. But I think that's the key, just getting young ladies excited about playing the game.
I know that, with smaller numbers, also it's a good thing for the school, but it may not necessarily be a good thing for the softball program with the girls soccer and the softball going on at the same time. Probably some athletes there that, with the success that the girls soccer team has started to see, that could possibly help you, that end up playing soccer just simply because, we've got an opportunity to win quicker here.
Yeah, absolutely. And, in middle school, when the seasons don't cross over, you see a lot more success in the middle schools during softball. But like you said, when they get to high school, they have to choose. And a lot of times that's the determining factor. Where can I get some wins?
Right.
And I don't fault any player for that.
Who are some of the people that you're counting on this year for leadership roles for the Vikings?
Well, our senior, Lindsey Strickland, she's our #1 pitcher. She went down the first game last year, so she missed the entire season last year. She's back. Laramie Whitehead, who's played varsity 4 years, she's going to be one of our leaders. But our team's we're going to have a facelift, so to speak, because a lot of our key roles are going to be filled by sophomores. So players like Jada Faison, Kristen Mears, Emily Britt, they're going to play some huge roles for us.
Nothing like getting that on the field experience and growing that way, and hopefully it'll pay off for West Columbus softball later on this year when they get more experience, and in the future as well.
No, that's the plan.
All right, going down here to the end, Coach Olivia Scott of the Whiteville Wolfpack. Coach, only lost a couple of seniors from the roster from last year, but two fairly key players.
Yes, sir. Both of those players are doing very well in college. They're both at Pembroke this year. They're roommates and doing well. We surely miss them, but they are going to their spots are going to be filled by some very good athletes.
I know that Mallory got a lot of the innings pitched for you last year, but young lady with you, Ivy Hayes, also had some very successful outings, and I think Carly Fulkerson also did some pitching as well. So it's not like the cupboard is bare at Whiteville where some experienced varsity pitchers come in, is it?
Correct. Ivy will be our number one for sure this year. She's got some big shoes to fill, but I know she can fill them and do a great job. She's worked hard in the off season, and again, I know she'll do a great job. Carly will be with the varsity this year. She pitched all of the JV games last year, and we pulled her up at the end. And then we still have 2 JV pitchers, that Bailey Carteret and Jenna Bullard, and they are not out of sight for me, especially when we play some of the good competition in our conference.
And as far as how solid the infield behind the plate, pretty much set with those positions from last season?
Not anymore. Our shortstop, Courtney Granger, she's a junior, broke her ankle back in October. She's recovering and has been released to do everything except for competitive play. So we're working with her diligently. And a freshman will be filling her spot. The sister of our catcher, Lauren Hilburn, her sister Carmen will be playing shortstop. And we've brought Laura Blair Thompson back to the infield to fill Eden's shoes.
Okay.
She was center field last year. She'll be our second baseman this year. Then we have our baby Sage at first base, and Bree Tolley, another senior, at third.
What would you say the strength of the Wolfpack will be? Will you be at the plate, in the field? Again, like you say, Ivy with plenty of pitching experience, so you're expecting that to be level with what you had in the past, but defensively, offensively?
I would say that Ivy and Mallory, their pitching styles are a little different. Ivy is really a go-getter. She fights hard for ground balls and pop flies, and we're going to have to be a great defensive team behind her. She can get the job done, but we've got to fight for her and be there for her. Offensively, I think, we have some huge bats, including Ivy's. Big stick for me. Sage McClellan, big stick. Laura Blair, when Courtney gets back. We are not the offensive team we've been in the past. I expect to see a little closer games, but I think it's going to be pretty equal. Maybe some lower scoring games, but we've got to play defense as well.
Okay. Let's slide it over to Ivy. Let me ask her a couple of questions. Hey, I don't know what percentage that softball coaches, and I may ask this question when we go back down, but I would think pitching in softball has a higher percentage of the success rate of a team than some of the. Are you excited about this season and being the number one?
I'm very excited. Like Coach Olivia said, I have some big shoes to fill, but I'm very excited.
And you got complete confidence in your teammates that when you throw strikes and they put it in play, they're going to make the plays behind you, right?
Most definitely.
She also mentioned you as one of the big bats in the lineup. What do you prefer, the pitching or the hitting?
Oh, that's a tough one. I don't know. Probably the pitching, because I love to hit too, but I love to pitch.
Well, it's nice that the choice is hard to make. Like I said, someone like me, there wasn't any choice because I never could hit, so I had to like the other parts of the game. The bar for Whiteville softball is set pretty high.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a positive influence, or because of the expectations, or sometimes do you think the expectations for the Whiteville program is that overwhelming as a player, or you just don't worry about it, you just get out there and you're playing ball?
It can be, I guess, a little overwhelming at times because they're set so high, but I feel, I don't know. We always go out there and play the best that we can, so we just play ball like we always have.
Okay. And that's going to come back. I want to come back here because tradition, and we'll go all the way down with this. East Columbus has a good softball tradition. And I think when you got that tradition, the players know that, and they have something to aspire to. Do you agree, Coach?
Yes, I do agree.
Gee, give me a long answer. Okay. So let me ask Kelsey then. Maybe she'll give me a little bit longer response to that. Do you know that East Columbus has a good softball tradition, and that's something that is a positive as far as you know?
I think it's positive. I think for me and most of the girls on my team, at least the seniors, we've been playing ball for a long time. So it's easy to just get out there and, like, take it like another game. You don't take it for granted, but you just play like you always have. Sometimes it can be intimidating for the younger girls, especially on our team, pulling up some freshmen and sophomores to play varsity. It might be a little bit difficult for them. Not really difficult, but you know what I mean. But
Right.
I think it's a good thing.
Gee, I'm glad you brought her. Coach Johnson, South Club, maybe not deep runs in the playoff, but certainly competitive for, the title, competitive in every contest that you play during the season. So there's a good softball tradition at South Columbus.
Yeah, I would definitely agree, and especially within the county, we're really blessed with a lot of opportunities for girls to play, and having the complex right there, and parents are definitely involved. So there's a definite tradition there, and we're very blessed to be where we are, and blessed to have the community support, and for not only each individual program, but overall, we've had a lot of support, even with some tragedies that certain teams have had to face. So,
Alex, add to that just the tradition of South Columbus softball. Is that something that you can draw some power from and say, hey, we've had great teams here before, and we want to be like that?
Yeah, most definitely. We have a lot of shoes to fill from the previous graduating classes, but I think we have a pretty good softball team.
Okay. Coach Browning, not necessarily in that same vein, but that's something, of course, that West Columbus you're going to work to build towards.
Yeah, I mean, all we have to do is look in our county, and we have plenty of examples of where we want to be as a program. And we've had some success in the past, and Coach Newman, Caroline, she was part of that. And even though she's not the head coach, she's still going to be a huge part of our program. And just to be in a conference with some of the best programs in the state, and I think I can say that pretty confidently, the teams in our conference, in our county, are some of the best in the state. I mean, it's an honor to play with them, but it also gives us something to shoot for, because that's where we want to be.
Piggyback on what Coach Browning said, Coach Scott, the competitiveness within the conference is good for all of the schools involved. The competitiveness within the county. I mean, you see good pitching, good play throughout the season. So when you get in the playoffs, sometimes early rounds in 1A, especially the level of competition actually drops off some from what you see during the regular season. Regular season play really prepares you well, doesn't it?
Absolutely, and especially, next year when we have our conference change, we add 2 more teams. A lot of people are arguing because you only get to play 5 non-conference games. I don't see that as an issue too much for us, because the competition is so stiff within our conference, and it does prepare us very well, especially defensively, because there are so many phenomenal hitters in our conference, and it really does prepare us when we get to the playoffs, especially in 1A.
Right. Okay, Coach Jacobs down here at East. Want to talk about scheduling for a moment, because with the way the playoffs are set up, the conference champion gets in, and everything else is set up by your overall record. At East Columbus, is it a matter of you kind of are trying to look at non-conference games as to maybe getting some teams, or you can get some wins and build up your overall record to get a higher seed, or are you just simply playing the people that are willing to play you?
Pretty much. I mean, I like to play some competition. It's just going to make us better and just prepare us more for playoffs. So I don't mind playing, really pretty much whoever wants to play us.
And I think this year, because of the Easter break difference between Columbus County and Brunswick County, you're not going to be able to defend your touchstone title, are you?
No, and that's going to hurt us, because that's a big, playing at West Brunswick, that helps us a lot. We, see a lot of good teams, and, winning that last year, I think, helped us. It brought some confidence to the girls, and so that's going to hurt us because I enjoy going down there. We see a lot of good competition, so yeah, it's going to be tough.
Have you been able to fill in for your Easter break with some games? I know it's been hard for the baseball people.
No, not really. We're still looking, so it's kind of up in the air right now.
Right. Coach Johnson, I know I think South Columbus also involved in the touchstone in the past as well, and not going to have that opportunity. First of all, what's your scheduling philosophy as far as what you try to do non-conference?
Try to play the best competition possible. Home. I don't really feel like there's necessarily a home field advantage for the most part, unless you had some funky dimensions of your ballpark.
Right.
That's totally different. But I actually kind of like playing on the road. I think there's fewer distractions, so your overall record really doesn't matter too much to me as far as getting seeding. It's always nice to have a home game, but when you have home games and you have all these people that are wanting to come, and it can be a distraction at times. I like to play the best competition, especially early on, because then you have a measuring stick to see where you're going to be and things you need to work on. I don't know for lack of time, but if you'll come back to me, I want to talk a little bit about Victoria.
Okay.
Before
I was going to just kind of leave that up to you to go to. Didn't know exactly how you would want to handle that, so we will. Coach Browning, scheduling wise, Coach Jones is athletic director and baseball coach. He said if people call and want to play us, we're going to play them. Basically to make sure we get the schedule filled out. We have seen in basketball, don't know how much y'all are aware of this, and hopefully it won't occur during the softball season, where not making up a non-conference game may have cost a local team a playoff spot. Getting as many non-conference games as the state allows and getting them played is important.
Yeah, when you're trying to build a program, and it's similar to what I had in basketball, you want to build confidence early because your team has to learn how to compete first, and then they have to learn how to win. So when our situation's a little different, we try to schedule teams that we can compete with, teams that will help us with our confidence, because it gets rigorous pretty quickly on our schedule. So our schedule this year basically looks like a preview of next year's conference schedule. We've added East Bladen, West Bladen, so no cupcakes for sure, but we're going to learn to compete.
There you go. Coach, scheduling, anybody, anytime, anywhere?
I'm very lucky to have an athletic director that allows me to kind of veer off from the baseball schedule. In years past, baseball likes to play a couple of Hanover County teams. The competition there for us is just not as strong. This year we're pulling Topsail, Hoke County, and Richmond as our non-conference. So we're kind of going hard to get ready for conference, because these schools aren't any kind of joke. I try to get my girls prepared right off the bat, and I think that'll help us. And I also kind of spread it out throughout the season. I try not to jam it all in the first 2 weeks before conference. In fact, we play Richmond the Saturday before the conference tournament to prepare us for the conference tournament. So,
all right, 2 questions. Then we're going to go back this way. I'm totally lost for the word support. Good support for softball.
Absolutely. When I was in high school 10 years ago, telling my age, but we did not have it. Softball was unheard of. We just went out there and we played the game, had fun. I have a great group of parents. We have our own booster club now, and we are seeing big changes, working on our field, making it look nice. We have something to be proud of at Whiteville this year.
First-year softball coach, program that's been struggling, what's the support like? Are people starting to step up and say, hey, we've got to get softball moving in the right direction?
Absolutely. I coached middle school and I coached JV before taking this job. So a lot of those kids, their parents already know me. So parent support's definitely on the uptick, and we have some girls who are used to playing travel ball, and their parents are used to being involved in softball. So that's really going to make a difference for us.
Okay. Coach Johnson, support at South Columbus?
Yeah, we have a tremendous amount of support all throughout the community, and that's one thing you can count on there is for the community to get behind their girls, and there's I've been pleasantly surprised at how much support the girls program has gotten.
And Coach Jacobs, having spent time in the eastern end of the county, I would dare say that softball may be up at the top of the ladder as far as how the program that the locals do support in that at East Columbus.
Yeah, we have a lot of support with the parents and the community. These girls have been playing ball since they were little, so the parents, they're there to help, and we have a lot of support, just, the community, not even just parents, so it helps a lot to have, the community behind you and all the parents behind you.
Okay. And Kelly, I'm going to mess you up because we're going to swing back down to the right, okay? Final comments. Ivy, have you enjoyed being here today?
Yeah.
And are you looking forward to going back and seeing how you looked on camera and everything, Rod, what you sounded like?
Yeah.
And the thing that the idea for this was that, the football coaches do one in the fall, and football does get a lot of individual attention and whatever. And so our idea was all the sports, deserve an opportunity to promote themselves, and that's where this came from. And we appreciate you taking your time on Saturday morning to come be with us and have a biscuit and a drink or whatever. I do try to at least give you a little bit of something, reason to come. And Coach Scott, any final comments just in general that you have about the upcoming season or anything?
I'm just excited. I'm ready to see what this season holds. We've got a new chemistry. I'm ready to see how it all works out, and we're really going to be a program this year using JV and varsity, a lot of good athletes. We're running 22 strong, but we're ready to play.
Okay, good. Coach Browning, thoughts about the upcoming season or just anything?
I'm looking forward to the challenge. I'm used to this. I've taken over programs, been struggling. So just with the young ladies we have coming up, I'm looking forward to it. I think they are up to the challenge.
Okay. I want to skip Coach Johnson and save him last, so let's go down here to East Columbus. Morgan? General comments about the upcoming season for the Gators?
Excited, ready to just get out there and see how everything goes. All of us lost key players, and we got key players coming back, so I'm just ready to see how everything, falls into place. So.
And I'm going to let Kelsey have the last words. She talked more than you did. Kelsey, glad to have you here this morning. Anything that you'd like to add?
No, thank you for having me. I had fun. I'm excited about the season. It's going to be great.
So if we do this again, you can tell them on down that we don't bite and everything's nice and easy, right?
Okay, I'll tell them.
Okay. And then let's move down here to Coach Johnson and just your general comments, and then anything else that you'd like to add.
Well, thank you for having us. I think it's awesome that the girls get this exposure, and if people out there haven't come to watch a game, sometimes focus tends to be on football and basketball and even baseball. They get a lot of publicity, but if you want to see fast-paced, I've coached baseball for years, and there's nothing like a girls' softball game with the emotion and everything that goes along with it. It's really over pretty quick, so you'll have a chance to catch our game, and then hopefully catch the tail end of some of those guys' games, especially with all the pitching changes and stuff that are going on. That's going to extend the game, so it's going to be a long time.
Alex, any final comments that you have? Have you enjoyed being here this morning? It hasn't been as bad as maybe you thought it was going to be when you were asked?
No, I have fun being here. Thank you for having me.
Okay, and looking forward to the season, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Scott, you had something else?
Victoria Harrelson, who is returning junior for us this year, had she collapsed and had some medical issues, and she's literally over the past week been fighting for her life and continuing to do so, and that's hit our girls pretty hard, and even within the county, talking with a lot of our peers and friends, there's been overwhelming support that has come out of that. But just remember her family, her in your prayers, and our team, because we've got. I've made cuts for the JV, but I still haven't made cuts for varsity yet, or had our whole team out there due to girls just. Either playing basketball or not being able to come to grips with
Right.
some of the things. So we're inspired this year. We're playing for Vic. It's kind of our whole motto, and we're hearts are breaking because we invest so much in these kids, and having a daughter that's her age, is even more difficult to go through. But we play in her honor, and know if she could communicate with us, and she would say, you better get your tail out there, or I'm gonna punch you in the neck or something like that. Knowing Vic, but our girls are. Come together, and it's given our whole county opportunity to come together and support over a player that has meant so much to each and every one of us, and a game that has meant so much to us as well.
Well, certainly our thoughts and prayers, along with, I know I can echo everyone here and everyone associated with what we do, are with not only her family, but the softball community, not only just South Columbus, but it affects everybody in Columbus County is touched by that. So we're just all hoping for the best. I'd like to say again thank you to everyone for taking time on Saturday and to come out and do this, and we hope to make it an annual affair and keep shining the spotlight on some of the sports that may not get the spotlight quite as often. So again, thank you for coming, and we will be following this up with our girls soccer. Thank you, everyone. And good morning, everyone, and welcome to our third segment this morning of our spring sports for 2017 interview with the coaches and some players. And now we're going to do the girls' soccer, and we're going to start, as we have been doing this alphabetically with East Columbus. Coach Justin Furlow in his second year at East Columbus. And Coach, first of all, glad to have you here on this Saturday morning. Appreciate you giving up some time to be with us. And looking back at 2016, not from the record standpoint, probably what you wanted, but when you look in conference play, 4 of your losses in the Three Rivers Conference were by 2 goals or less. So it's not like the Gators were not competitive. They just need to take it up another notch to start putting some marks on the winner's side.
Yes, sir. We were pretty young last year. We had about 4 seniors graduate, and they were key roles, and we're having some people filling them for them. But for example, Courtney, she's the only senior who's on our team who's played for 4 years. As far as the people who come out, she's only one of 2 seniors, so we're still young this year. So last year was a learning year for a lot of our younger girls who should step up this year. And they've learned, like you said, last year we were competitive, so hopefully this year we can take that a step further and teach them how to win and put some wins in that other column.
What would you say coming into the season would be what do you perceive as the strength or strengths from the team, defensively, offensively, goalkeeping? Just what are some of the areas that you feel pretty good about?
I feel better about our defense. We got a lot of girls this year who are coming out who are athletic. Some of them played basketball, so they're in shape, better shape than what we had last year. So we should be able to be better on the defensive side, and then we have to develop our offensive side this year.
Okay. Let's go over to Courtney for a moment. Courtney, he said you've been playing soccer 4 years?
Correct.
And have you seen, again, despite the record, have you seen in those first 3 years that the soccer program you feel like is beginning to improve and move in the right direction?
Yes, more people have come out, but I would like for more people to be encouraged to play more soccer.
And it's kind of one of those things where winning generates more interest and people want to be involved in that, and it's got to start somewhere. So maybe this year your senior season is going to be the one that inspires people in the future to become more involved with East Columbus soccer, right?
Right.
What do you enjoy most about playing, and what position do you play?
Well, I play defense, and mostly just the friends, the people you meet, because it's a pretty big school. So you meet new people that you see every day, and they just become more like family instead of just friends.
Let me go back to Coach Furlow a minute, talking about, schools at the 1A level, and you've got girls soccer, you've got softball going on at the same time. East Columbus does have a fairly strong tradition in softball. It's kind of, it's hard with the limited number of athletes to field teams that are competitive, in both when you don't have that many to choose from, right?
It is. It basically comes up to a point where you're splitting your athletes. A lot of times, so for example, the girls coming from basketball, some of them go out and play softball and some of them go out and play soccer. The thing that I try and tell them is that soccer is much more similar to basketball because a lot of them they are basketball players. They love basketball. So what I try and tell them is that basketball and soccer are very similar. They're both free-flowing sports. A lot of your plays are the same. A lot of it's based around passing, whereas softball is a set sport. It stops and things like that. So, the ones who are not very sure, who, don't know if they want to play soccer or softball, because a lot of the girls do say, they played both in middle school and they love both of them. But like you said, that tradition a lot of times pushes them towards softball, and I think we're trying to change that to where, which one would you prefer to play versus which one are you being told to play. And I think that is kind of where hopefully we're going in the county, is trying to grow soccer a little bit. But like you said, winning becomes a big part of that. Softball has been pretty successful at East, so it generates a lot of interest. Soccer, we're rebuilding, so hopefully this year we can win some and generate more interest with our sport.
Do you get a lot of your soccer players that have experience outside of the school, that have played something other than middle school, or is that something in the eastern end of the county? I know that Dixie softball is prevalent in the eastern in the county for one thing. So you don't have that many with travel experience playing for you, do you?
No, sir. With Brinkley Park, it's mainly Dixie softball and Dixie baseball. So you have those feeder programs coming in. So kids have been playing baseball and softball their entire lives. Whereas soccer, most of our girls and boys don't get that experience until they get to the middle school. So it does kind of put us behind a lot of other schools, especially if we play like non-conference. If we play games against other schools and other counties where they do have those feeder programs where they have youth soccer in that community. So kids have got a 5, 6, 7 year head start on playing.
And tough to overcome that when you're starting with them at the high school level. Yeah,
yes, sir.
I understand that totally. All right, let's move down next here to South Columbus. Coach Andrew Rice, who I'll have to say is in the top 2 or 3 most energetic head coaches in Columbus County that I have been exposed to. And I mean that in a very complimentary way.
Thank you.
By the way. Looking at your roster from last season, I see Elizabeth Long's name on there as a senior, and then I see a whole lot of juniors that are seniors this year. So you're coming back with a lot of experience on the varsity level.
Absolutely. That's something we were talking about just a few minutes ago, is that I only lost one senior last year, and she brought a lot of experience and a lot of talent to what we were doing and what we were wanting to accomplish. So this year we end up having seven seniors, almost half of our team as seniors. So we do have a lot of experience coming back. So hopefully that will trickle down as well, and those seniors can work with our freshmen, because we have a really good freshman class coming in also. So hopefully those seniors are going to be working with the freshmen and allowing them to grow at a quick pace.
And I would think, too, that these seniors, having played for you for a period of time now,
yes, sir.
Know what you expect and probably have a much better idea of the level that they must reach in order to be competitive in the conference and, make some moves in the playoffs.
Absolutely. Now that I've been there, this is going to be my 3rd year. The girls that have played for me, previously there's been just coaches kind of bouncing around at South Columbus, and I think one of the things that our program really needed is just stability. So the girls that are seniors now, this will be their 3rd year playing for me, and I've only had one other coach or no other coach that they played for before. So the stability, I think, is going to really help them to know, hey, these are the expectations that you need to meet. This is what our conference is going to be like. And we also have the largest schedule that we've ever had, girls or guys, this year. We're going to play 19 games and even 1 scrimmage, which is by far the most games we've ever played.
At South Columbus, do you think that the appreciation for soccer has increased since you've taken over as the head coach?
I think it's growing, yes, sir. I think that a lot of people are beginning to notice that this is not just a sport for the nobodies to play, because really that's the idea with soccer, especially in our area. A lot of people assume that you just grow up, you play baseball, you play softball, just like Justin said. And if you don't, and if for whatever reason either you're not athletic enough or you just want to run a lot, then you can go play soccer. So I think that it has grown. Our Stallion Club has shown a lot of appreciation and has seemed to take in a liking to the way that our program is being run. So I've been very excited about our Stallion Club getting on board with us, as well as our administrative staff has been very supportive with helping us in any way possible that we needed. So we've got a lot of support behind us.
I was going to ask your player this, so I'm going to let you give the answer that you think that your player would give to describe your in-game coaching style.
I do a lot of yelling, and it's not necessarily demeaning yelling.
Right.
A lot of it is instruction and very high energy, I would say. And it's not something where I take a play off. I guess you could say a lot of coaches allow their team to kind of free flow as they want. But I feel like that due to the lack of experience of our players, especially a lot of them just coming in and playing maybe a couple of years of middle school or just starting out of high school, they don't have the experience and they don't understand how the game needs to really flow on its own. And so I do offer a lot of instruction during that time. And of course, girls on the other side of the field can't really hear what I say, so it just ends up being a lot of noise.
Makes you feel better, though, right?
So sometimes it goes on deaf ears, but a lot of times I think it helps them out.
All the ears aren't deaf, because anytime I'm there, I am pretty much thoroughly entertained by you when I'm on your sideline, and it's helped me learn the game and have a greater appreciation for the game. And I do want to tell that to everybody in here now. My appreciation for the sport of soccer has grown by leaps and bounds since I have actually gone out and started covering it more in depth in the last couple. It doesn't hurt that I have a 10-year-old grandson who wakes up in the morning with a soccer ball attached to his foot too. So
That's excellent.
Anyway, but just a much greater appreciation for the sport in general and the job that you all do. All right, let's move over here to West Columbus. Coach Mark Edge, Juliana Evat, Mary Ellen Waddell, Kylie Jenkins listed as seniors from last year's squad, but it looks like you've got a good 14, 15, 16 people with some varsity soccer experience coming back for West Columbus.
We do. We've got a big group coming back, and all of those players have had the experience with me as well. Like Andrew said, playing 2 to 3 years with me, so they know the expectations already. We've got 3 seniors again this year, so it'll be kind of the same setup as last year. And I feel like our juniors and sophomores will be able to step into those spots that we'll be missing from our seniors that graduated last year.
Coach Browning sat softball in that same chair that you were sitting in last time, and you're in a somewhat reverse role than maybe South Columbus and East Columbus anyway are, and it seems like in the springtime for the female students that the girls soccer team is the place to be, and you're benefiting from the fact that you've had some success, playoff win last year. People want to be a part of that.
Right. I think soccer has grown in our area just a little bit, especially on the girls' side. The girls coming from middle school tend to gravitate towards soccer versus softball. I don't know why that is. Of course, this year it was a pretty even split between the freshman girls that I expected, to see some of them with soccer and ended up going to softball, which is fine because we need to split those athletes so that we can have success on both sides of the school. But our program's growing with soccer, which is really good.
Let's go over here to Nene. I know it's going to say Tanisha, but that's what she prefers. Nene? Nene. Okay. It's not, anyway, whatever. Looking forward to the soccer season?
Yes, sir.
What are you most excited about?
I'm really set on the teammates and stuff because I feel like we're all working together to achieve the same goal. And at the end of the season, you're going to form some type of bond with everybody. So, and I like meeting new people and getting to talk to them.
And a playoff win last year, I guess it was pretty exciting and makes you look forward to this year even more so, right? Yes, sir. Because last year we got pretty close, especially in the second round. Right. And it was a head-on. So I really want to get to that level this time. Now, what position do you play? I play left wing. And what would you say is your best skill on the soccer pitch? Passing, scoring, shooting. Probably passing. Passing. Okay. Well, hey, somebody's got to pass it. Usually, for there to be a goal scored, it's not a whole lot of one-on-one. I think Coach Edge is smiling because he doesn't agree that you're a great either that you hog the ball or you're not a great passer. But we'll go back to him and get a comment on that. Coach Edge.
I was whispering over here was that she is probably the most aggressive player on our team. She's going to go after the ball and she's going to keep going for it until she gets it. And she's pretty good at passing as well and shooting. So that's just aggressiveness is a great trait to have as any athlete, and especially in soccer. As I've said, it's a much more physical game with contact than one may. If they are just reading about it in the paper or whatever, even watching it on television. So you go see a game in person,
there's really a difference in the level of aggressiveness that's going on out there.
It really is.
All right, let's move down here to the right to Coach Ronnie Todd, and I'm not going to try to make him cry, but I'm going to read some names. Ashley Carter, Abigail Owens, Madison Henson, Mia Shelley, Sam Lane, Virginia Savage, Ashlyn Floyd, Tori Priest, all seniors off last year's squad that have been a part of a very successful Whiteville girls soccer program, and certainly will be missed. But you also have a lot of players returning that have a lot of varsity experience as well, and Whiteville girls soccer has a tradition to live up to. I think that all of the girls coming back realize, right?
That's right. That's about 400 goals we're missing there, just and
just
over
400.
300 assists.
Uh-huh.
But we do have a good group returning. We have 5 seniors. One never played. Got her from softball actually, but we got 4 seniors that are returning that I expect a lot of good leadership out of, and they're playing well, and I expect them to take the team and run with it.
Now, I believe if I saw the crowd that you actually had an inter-squad scrimmage yesterday, and how'd the team look? How'd that turn out?
It went well. We had a good crowd. It was actually a blue-white game where we just kind of divide the teams up and play the scrimmage to kind of get them going. They looked better than I thought. They passed the ball around. We got to work on some spacing and identify who's going to play where, and still got to figure out who's going to be on what team right now.
Obviously, your numbers are pretty good to be able to divide up and play something like that. The interest in girls soccer at Whiteville is still high, right?
It is. We had 42 to sign up, and some of them still doing cheering and basketball. We should be getting some from them shortly, we hope. Wish them well in their sport they're playing, but we're ready for them as well.
The bar has been set pretty high for Whiteville soccer with what the girls have done in previous seasons. Do you see that as an advantage because the girls that have been in the program and then move up into the starting positions know they've seen what the other girls have done to get you to that point, or sometimes is it almost a weight to carry that the expectation level is so high for your soccer program?
It is high, but our goal is to have fun. I mean, we want to win. We want to be as good as we can be, but I want the girls to enjoy their time playing soccer at Whiteville High School, whether we're 20-0 or 0-20. I want them to enjoy it and look back later and say, hey, I missed that.
All right, you brought Lauren DeMuzio with you, and let's speak to her just a moment. Lauren, do you think it would be an enjoyable season under Coach Todd if you did go 0-20?
I feel like a lot of us would be deaf by the end of it, but it would still probably be fun.
What do you enjoy most about playing soccer?
I think each game is just such a new experience, and throughout the season, everybody grows and we grow closer together, and it's just really interesting looking back at the first game that we played together compared to the last one or 7 from the beginning, because we get better as they go on and we get closer, and it's just great to watch that happen. Okay, and what are your expectations for Whiteville soccer this season, knowing what they've accomplished in the past? And you've been a part of those accomplishments as well. So obviously you're going to be one of the people that leads the younger players. I would hope so. I think that if nothing else, by the end of the season, we're going to have a lot of great people who had an amazing time and come back to play again next year regardless of what happens. Okay, that's good. Yeah, we'll go down here to Courtney again. Courtney, as a 4-year player and obviously going to be one of the leaders on the team, what's your leadership style going to be like? Are you more one that let your actions on the field speak for you, or are you a vocal person that will get after a teammate to they need to step it up?
I'm more of an action person. Actions speak louder than words, but sometimes words help. So I'll leave that to Coach.
And Coach Furlow, do you have a number of seniors that you feel confident that will step up and say, hey, you know, this is the way it should be done, or this is the way we do it here?
Well, right now it's just Courtney, and then we have another girl, Brianna, who's coming out. And this will be her first year playing soccer since middle school. So
you're really going to be relying on Courtney quite a bit for that, then?
Relying on Courtney and relying on also some of our juniors,
Right.
who were with us last year to kind of step up. We've already had one or two. Alex Rye will step up and be a leader. But as far as senior leadership, we're kind of slim on seniors. So I'm just looking to my upperclassmen, juniors, and seniors to kind of help lead the team and set our expectations that I had set for them last year and kind of continue the trend.
Coach Rice, when you let the girls get a word in edgewise, who were some of the and you've got quite a list here, and I say that again with complimentary. Who do you expect to take some of the leadership roles from the vocal standpoint? Is there somebody specifically, or one or two girls that will help you keep the other girls in line with what you need to do to be successful?
I think in regards to being vocal, there are definitely probably 3 or 4 that are definitely vocal, and that's you see that in practice. You see that in the way that we do our workouts and our scrimmages, and some of those names that come to mind are Turner Simmons, Sydney Cattell, and Amanda Watts. All 3 of those are very vocal, which is good because they know the expectations I have. They know the expectations that the team has set for themselves at the beginning of the year and the goals that we want to accomplish. And of course, if nobody can hear me on the field, then there are 3 or 4 that can back up and do exactly what we need. And so we have others that lead in other ways. Our other seniors, Mary Catherine Zokol and Whitney Ward, Josabeth Hernandez and Yasmin Domenico, all of them lead in different ways. But I think those 3 that I named before are definitely the vocal ones that get after it. So they'll be a huge asset for me.
Okay. Coach Edge, you said that she's aggressive on the field. Is she aggressive with the other players, or does she leave that up to you, or is there someone else?
I will say our senior captains, her and Peyton Sasser, are both very vocal about what they want for our team, and they want to push our team to be the best that they can be, and they're going to speak up and tell them if they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, you know, and meeting the expectation. Are
you comfortable in that role, or is that something that you kind of feel as a senior now and a captain that you need to do, whether you're comfortable doing it or not?
Well, I mean, like, in the past, I've tried to, like, kind of fall back and let the, like, other, like, captains ahead and stuff. But, like, this year, I feel like I've been more, like, vocal towards the other players and, like, actually, like, well, Edge won't want you to do this, Edge won't want you to do that. Yeah.
Okay. Lauren, same thing with you. Are you one that's more likely to speak up with your experience and say, you know, that's not, tell a younger player, that's not what the way we do it here, that's not what Coach Todd would want, or are you going to leave that to Coach Todd or someone else?
I feel like if somebody does something that Coach Todd doesn't want them to do, he will make sure that they know that. But in case he's not there, we have our seniors, all of us are really good at not, like, getting angry, but like constructive criticism towards other people for the sake of helping everybody get better. So.
And I haven't asked this to anyone else because this may only apply. How many years have you been playing soccer?
In total?
Yeah.
14.
And you know, and there's the difference that we're talking about, and where we are with the programs right here in the same county, where we have. You and several of your teammates probably have been playing with you on those teams as well, and that has got to be a special bond that you have. And I don't know if you can totally anticipate someone else's move, but you've got a good idea of how they're going to react during a game, right?
It is. When you've been playing with someone for so long, I mean, you see how they play at the beginning of the game when we're like all about to like pass out and die, you know, how everybody reacts. And when you've been playing with certain people for so long, you really can. You can anticipate where they're going to be, and it makes everything a lot easier and run smoothly.
Okay. Coach Todd, go back to you for some final comments, whatever you'd like to say about the upcoming season. Know you're excited about it and looking forward to it as always.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really good season. I think the conference is going to be really tight. We're going to battle, just kind of like the boys' season. We're going to see how it comes out. I do depend on my seniors a lot. Lauren's the captain, and the 14 years her experience. I actually watched them play, and we run plays off of what I learned from watching them. So they help me design stuff. I mean, we run some corner kicks that I've learned from her and Morgan. They don't even realize that, and some throw-ins and stuff that I learned from our captains. So they're not necessarily vocal leaders, but they lead by example. And they do take charge, and she's right. They're not hollering. They'll call them together and have a little calm conversation. I'm like, ugh. Anyway, they handle it very well. So we depend a lot on our leaders, and I think they'll do fine.
Okay. Coach Edge, coming back to you, just expectations. Anything else you'd like to say about this upcoming season?
I look forward to this season. We're going to have a good time. We're going to have a good team, and hopefully we can make another playoff run. I think that's one of our team goals, is to try to make it to those playoffs again, and just to play for something bigger than ourselves.
Okay. Coach Rice?
Yes, sir. Our experience is hopefully going to lead us well this year. I'm really excited about what the team has to offer. I'm excited about how our seniors can lead our freshmen, both of them being our two biggest classes. Our seniors we have 7 seniors and I think 5 freshmen coming in. So both of those are going to hopefully work well together. We're going to depend on some freshmen to step up and do some things that they've never done before, and those seniors hopefully will lead them in doing that. And with that, maybe we got as close as probably we've ever been this past year with winning a playoff game. So hopefully this year we will get over that edge and be able to walk off the field with a win in our pocket.
Okay. And Coach Furlow?
I'm looking to be more competitive. Like you said, last year we were competitive, but we fell a little short. Looking this year to be even more competitive. And like Coach Todd said, it's going to be a tight conference this year. And then I'm looking forward to my upperclassmen coming back with some experience and with expectations, and looking for Courtney to lead us as a senior.
Well, I'd like to tell all of you again how much I've enjoyed the last couple of years, where I've been much more involved with covering soccer than I have been before. You've all been very good to work with, and I appreciate that, and I hope all of you have very successful seasons. I know that you're going to have to play each other, and somebody's got to win and somebody's got to lose, but it's great to see Columbus County teams being able to advance in the playoffs. It's been great to see the growth at some of the schools where, and I think overall that's got to help the Whiteville program when the other programs in the county have become more competitive, and help prepare them, for playoff runs. And when, on the other hand, when you're playing a team that has been successful and you see that you're starting to, compete with them, that says a lot about your programs and where you're able to build on that and keep going. But enjoy doing it, and hope to continue giving you the coverage that you deserve, because everybody is out there working hard, putting the time in, putting the sweat equity in as well. And we hope to keep trying to get the public out to see the good things you're doing. So if anybody got anything that they'd like to close with, or that can close it. All right, appreciate you taking time being here this morning, and that finishes up our 2017 girls soccer spring sport, and we'll be following that up with boys tennis in just a few moments. And welcome to the fourth stage of our 2017 Spring Sport Coaches interview. We have the coaches from the 4 county high schools, and they've each brought a player with them for the boys tennis teams that are going to be taking the court this spring. And first of all, I'd like to thank everyone for taking some time out of your Saturday morning for no pay and a little bit of food to show up and promote your sport. We want you to know that we recognize the importance of all the sports that take place in Columbus County. That's one reason for our Columbus Cup competition. After having 2 girls that played tennis in high school, maybe I have a little extra appreciation for the sport of tennis as well, and know how hard that the kids work and the time and effort that's put into it. So we like to shine that spotlight on you occasionally too. So anyway, I want to find out a little bit about each one of your teams and some expectations for this year. And we're going to start down here to my left with East Columbus, Coach Williamson. Good morning.
Good morning.
Glad you could be here today. Let's take a look at some of the players that are not with you this year that, according to the roster that I pulled, I believe Haywood McCoy and Dakota Locklear, Terry Brown, some people that you'll be missing from last year. Tell me a little bit about their contributions.
Each one had their own contribution to the team. Haywood was a key player in being in the top 5 there, so we will miss him greatly. But we are able to fill those places, fill those spots, and the team is moving up, and we have a solid top 5 right now.
And you basically, I think, 4th year coaching?
Yes.
And you've pretty much, and I think your girls' tennis team helped you somewhat, have kind of recruited and revitalized the boys' tennis program at East Columbus. And I know Tavo is one of your, a soccer player as well. And you have several people from the soccer program that have played tennis for you in the spring. I guess the footwork skills that they develop during soccer come in handy on the tennis court?
I think they do. Agility is a big thing for tennis, I think, and Tavo is an excellent player in soccer and both tennis.
Returning, I know that he won something, and you'll have to forgive me for not having exactly what it was. Doubles, singles,
doubles. He and his partner Marco made it to the state championship, and of course they lost out in the first round. That was a lot of competition to go up against, but they played very well. Very proud of them. And
Marco back as well, right?
He is, yes.
So that should be a doubles team that
very
will be
interesting. That's
worth
actually
watching.
one of our goals that we're looking forward to making again, going back to the state as a doubles team.
Okay, well, since we mentioned that, let me ask you about that experience. Tavo, what was it like to advance and get to play in doubles at the state level?
It was just a feeling I couldn't explain. It being my first time, well, my second year playing tennis, but my first time making it to state. It was just amazing.
And you just said just your second year playing tennis. So
yeah.
Before you got recruited to play on the high school team, tennis was something you had never done before, right?
Yeah.
And
well, no, I haven't, but
right. What do you enjoy most about playing tennis?
I mean, it's a team sport, but you could also rack up on individual trophies if you really work for it.
Right. So you can have success as an individual even though the team isn't. And do you prefer, I know you've had success in doubles, do you prefer playing doubles or do you prefer playing singles?
I think I get further in doubles than I could in singles.
Okay. So you like to have that partner to rely on,
yeah.
right? Okay. Coach Williamson, coming back to you for a moment, do you pretty much have a seating order in line already, or you have a good idea of who your maybe not name them by seed, but who some of your top players are that you expect good things out of this year?
Just looking at practices, our starting tryouts, I guess we could say this week, we're looking at a solid top 5. We have Marco returning with Tavo. We have Hector Palacios returning as well. Harley Potter is also returning. Devin Young is another key player. He has worked really hard, so he's looking really good right now. We also have Weah Locklear returning, and a couple of new seniors that want to join.
So and that's something I was going to mention later, but since you've mentioned it, the success of the program has started to, instead of you having to go out and pull people in, the success that you've had and that the attention that these young men have gotten is starting to draw some more people to the program.
Absolutely. We do have a couple of freshmen and sophomore that have had some questions, so we're still open. We haven't made the team yet, so.
I look at your results last year, and we were talking about the individuality, but yet a team. You had a deep team because even in defeat, you were never shut out until you met up, unfortunately, with Raleigh Charter, and
right.
They're in a different stratosphere. We're not going to use different league when we get into the
stratosphere's
tennis,
good.
the tennis type things. But you are always able to pull out a couple of points in any match against anybody. So you had good depth throughout your squad, didn't you?
We did. I just feel like this men's tennis team is just solid as far as dedication to the sport. I know that there's 3 or 4 of them that have literally practiced all summer on their own. They work when I'm not even able to be with them. They're out there either at school or they're at a park. I know that to be truthful, and they are working diligently any chance they get, to perfect their backhand, forehand, and any other thing they want to work on. So, very proud of them.
Okay. Let's move down next to South Columbus High School. Coach Burrs, are you the dean of boys tennis coaches in Columbus County, or even in the league?
You let somebody else answer that question.
So I guess you're just saying I'm the old man here.
Yeah, that you've been doing it longer than anyone else.
Yeah, actually, when I first started at South Columbus, I coached boys tennis for 3 years, and then I moved into varsity softball for 11 years and gave up the softball and took the boys back, and I think I've been the boys coach for 3 or 4 years now, and put in the girls there also. So I guess you could call me the dean. I guess I keep this group the way they should stay.
Okay. I believe 9-3 in conference play last year. St. Paul's was the conference champion, but you finished second to them. 9-3, good overall record. Just a little bit about last season and what you accomplished and who you're missing off that team.
Yeah, well, we had a really good year last year. We finished second in the conference, like you said, behind St. Paul's. And I can't exact was my one other loss to you, or who was my other loss to East Columbus? I think it was. And we lost 2 from last year's team. We lost John Morgan Lewis and Flint Ward, which was my number 2 and my number 6. And I think we're going to be able to replace them this year. We've got a lot of new faces on this team. Where they get soccer players, we get baseball players that decide to leave baseball and come to tennis. Somebody was telling me the other day that tennis is becoming at South Columbus the cool sport to play. A lot of boys want to play tennis now. A lot of athletes want to play tennis. I had actually I think 3 this year that usually play baseball, and now they're playing tennis. And I don't go out and recruit them. They come to me and ask me, can I play tennis or whatever? And I'm like, sure, come on out. And if you can get athletes and you can teach them the basics of tennis, then that athleticism will come out. And I think that's what's going to help us this year. And I expect to be hopefully as good as we were last year, or possibly even better than we were. So our goal is to vie for this conference championship and take St. Paul's down.
Okay.
So.
I'll get to Noah in just a minute, but do want to mention Mason Hewitt as a player from last year's squad that ended up playing. And I don't know if he had very much tennis experience. Most of his background was baseball, but played for you and I think kind of worked his way up in your seeds as the year went along, just simply because of the additional experience he got, and turned out to be quite a find for you.
Yeah. He started out Mason started out at number 4 when the season started. He moved his way up and played pretty much through the regular season as number 2. And then him and Noah met in the conference championship singles, and it was a great match. Mason did end up winning. We had a string to break and on his racket, and he pretty much had to change. And, when you change rackets, that throws you off. And, even though Mason is going to start out at number 1, Noah here has already informed me that he's ready to take that back. So, there's going to be a lot of competition through our top 6. We've already had challenge matches already. We have Griffin Hanna, which is an ex-baseball player that's came in, and he's actually taken the 5 spot for us, and he was actually the wide receiver on the football team. Just came up and said he wanted to play, and we welcome him. But we're looking to have hopefully a really good year this year.
Okay. Let me ask Noah a question. I'm going to make a statement and then let Noah correct me. I've seen you play tennis, and it looks to me like one of the things you really enjoy about tennis is hitting the ball hard.
Well, that's a very good thing about it.
Yeah.
I enjoy it.
Okay. In your opinion, what do you enjoy most about playing tennis?
I just enjoy being able to hang out with all the players and just have fun. It's not really a big rivalry or anything between us. We're all kind of friends. I get to hang out with some of the other players at the other schools, and they're fun to hang out with. It's a fun sport.
Do you find I made you somewhat well known because of your volleyball skills. Pat myself on the back here a minute. But do you find that some of your volleyball skills carry over onto the tennis court?
I would say so. For moving side to side, running back and forth, being able to swing up and hit it down, just flicking wrists and stuff. It does help.
And you prefer singles or doubles?
Singles.
Okay. Interesting, because in the volleyball it's doubles that you're playing, right? So, but singles in the tennis. All right, let's go back to Coach Burroughs here for a moment. What's a realistic goal for South Columbus Tennis? What goals have you set for South Columbus Tennis this year? I know that as opposed to the other schools, you're in the 2A level, and typically you run into some better opponents in an early round than a lot of times in the 1A schools do.
Yeah. Well, our goal is to hopefully maybe win a conference championship this year. Now, every time we go to these other schools, we better be ready to play. I mean, I don't look past any of these teams here, because I think any of these teams can beat any team at any time. Just hopefully that we show up and everybody has their best day. That they work hard, and we hope the chips fall to where we can vie for a conference championship. And I think that we maybe have the players to work hard to do it. I was telling them earlier that we'll have our hour and a half to 2 hour practice, and I'll have to take up all the balls, and then after I leave, the kids grab the balls again and go for another hour after I leave. And as having a family with 2 little girls, I can't stay out there to 6 and 6:30 every night, so I have to cut it off at some time. But these guys do work hard, and they love it, and like Noah was saying, we have a good time. I think that's why a lot of people are wanting to get involved with tennis at South Columbus, because they know that that we have a good time, we have fun. Our main goal is to win and compete, and I don't like losing, and my players don't like losing, but when we win, we celebrate. I mean, we'll go out to eat, we'll have a good time, and it's a family atmosphere. And I hope they love going out to practice with me, because I'm out there competing with them. I go as hard as I can. I may not be as young as they are, but I'm gonna give each one of them a test when they come to practice. So.
All right. All right, let's move down next to West Columbus High School. Coach W.T. Edwards this morning. Looking at the roster that I pulled off Max Preps from last year, it looks about like it's about 50-50 for players lost off last year's team and players returning.
Yeah, we lost our number 2 player, Grayson Jarvis. We lost our number 5, Adam Jens, and lost our number 6, Tyrone Dundee. But like some of these other guys said, we've picked up, I know one baseball player for sure, Aaron Elkins, who was Logan Elkins' brother. I don't know if you remember Logan from girls tennis.
Absolutely.
They have a tennis family, so I was excited when he decided to come play tennis. And then we have a lot coming back, moving up. We have Mayshawn Harris coming back, who didn't get to play last year because of an injury, a leg injury. And his sophomore year, he went to the he actually finished runner-up, I believe, in the singles tournament. Went to regionals, did well there. So we have some coming back. We are definitely going to miss the ones that are not back, seniors last year, but we do have some coming back that are ready to work hard.
Well, and at West Columbus this year, we can say, well, there's always hope.
That's right. That's right. Always hope. As long as you got divine hope on your side, it's always good, right?
Right, and I believe he was your number 1 seed last year.
Yes.
And advanced into regional play, I believe.
He finished second. He finished runner-up in the conference tournament.
That's right.
It was a very tough match with Whiteville's number 1 last year, and he finished runner-up in that one. But yeah, Divine has been working really hard, and Divine has stepped up to be a leader for these guys and kind of showed them the ropes. And like the ones that are coming from other sports, he's kind of taking them under his wing, kind of try to show them what we do and how we do things.
You personally must like this boys tennis team, because I know now that you've taken over the varsity boys basketball job at West Columbus, you're going right out of one season into the next, where it would have been easy to say, let's find somebody else to do this or whatever. So boys tennis apparently holds a little special place in your heart.
It does. I genuinely like being around the guys that play. I like being around them and seeing them succeed and seeing them work hard. We have a good relationship with all of us, and I am their coach and teacher for a lot of them, but if they do need something, I think they know that they can call on me, and it's hard to just let go of relationships like that with students. So it wasn't really a debate for me to give that up. I told them last week, I said, listen, I'm trying to get out of basketball mode. Basketball mode and tennis mode is a little bit different. I'm a little more vocal on the basketball court than I can be on the tennis court, in games at least. And so I'm transitioning my mind into that play. But luckily, we have a lot of seniors coming up, and they've kind of taken over this past week. And the top 6 have been working hard to get back in that mode. So I'm excited to start. I'm excited to get out there and ready to go.
Okay, let's go over here to Divine a moment. Divine Hope returning as the number 1 seed for West Columbus. And Divine, having played number 1 already, you know what the competition at the top is like. Are you looking forward to that again this year?
Yes, sir. I think I'm ready. I think so.
Have you been doing some work prior to the season? We've had some wonderful weather for our spring sports here in January and February to get started. You've been preparing before official practice started?
Yes, sir. I've been running more, trying to get my body ready for the season, with stamina and stuff like that. And then we've been out, like you said, the top 6 have been out practicing for like 2 weeks now, just going hard, trying to get ready for the season. And
what do you consider the best part of your game?
I would say my serve, especially when it's on, it's on. So.
Okay. What do you have any individual? We talked about it, tennis is unique in the fact that you can have a team that does not do well, and you can have individuals that flourish. Do you have any individual goals set that you want to accomplish in addition to the team doing well?
It's basically both. The same for both. Like I would like to win more matches this year, and just as for the team as well, I just hope we do like a little bit better than we did last year. Always push to do better, and that's just what that's my goals.
Was Coach Edwards telling the truth when he said he was a little bit more laid back on the tennis court and easier to get along with?
Yeah, it's most definitely a family feel on the team, and like he said, he's our coach and our teacher. But sometimes, I could look up to him as like a older brother or uncle or something like that. So it's most definitely like a family feel on the court.
No, I was hoping he'd say grandfather, but you know, I don't guess we'll be able to do that. All right, thank you. All right, down here to my right, we've got Sally Medford for the Whiteville Wolfpack, and oh, okay, I was hearing something else. Okay, and Sally steps in first year.
Yes.
And in a program that has gone from not being in existence 2 or 3 years ago to starting to regain its footing. And what are you looking for this year out of Whiteville Wolfpack tennis?
I want us to be successful. We were talking the other day with the guys having their individual goals and the team goal, and we want to be successful to go out there and do our best.
I think maybe last year or year before, I'm going to say last year, success almost was getting the program back reinstated where enough people were interested in playing where they could field a team, which I guess just kind of unusual that you've always felt like Whiteville with a little bit more of the city feel to it or whatever, more people would gravitate towards tennis, but that just hasn't been the case recently, has it?
No, but I think it's building, so I definitely feel like it's building.
Okay. Who are some of the key people that you're depending on this year to fill some of your top spots, you think?
Well, we have 5 returning players, and we have 11 guys out there, and I see a lot of potential. We've been out practicing, and they did a round robin, and so they've already done a challenge match, and so I'm excited about the year. I think they'll do good.
Okay. Have you gotten any feedback from them as far as your coaching style as opposed to I know in previous seasons maybe it's been more someone that they've been in charge of the program, but not necessarily a tennis person. Do they see you more as a tennis person and a more structured practice schedule type thing?
I hope so. I think so. My husband helps me out too. He's the assistant coach.
Okay.
And I mean, I played for Whiteville 18 years ago in high school, so I have a love for it and appreciation, and I hope they see that. And my husband comes out there and he helps us out, and so hopefully they get that feeling.
Well, it's good to see the numbers, and we'll go over here. And you brought, I believe, Gavin McPherson is with you, and Gavin was nodding and saying yes when we were talking about the structure of practice. First of all, how many years have you been involved with the tennis program at Whiteville, Gavin?
Last year was my first year playing, and I think my whole team was playing. That was the first year, so.
Right. So rebuild. So you're seeing a lot more structure and tennis instruction going on a daily basis in practice now.
Yes, sir.
And are you excited about the upcoming season?
Yeah, I'm excited. I think everybody's got a lot better, and they want to win. So I think we'll win some games this year.
Okay. What do you do best on the tennis court? What's your strength?
I think my forehand's the best. It's not my serve. I think returning serve is probably the best.
Okay. And have you set, she has talked about goal setting. What are some of the goals that you've set for this year?
I just want everybody to win some games and just have fun with it. I mean, I think we'll be a lot better this year. I hope so. How
is tennis, for lack of a better term, I guess, perceived? You've got the boys that are playing baseball, and of course the baseball program. There's so much talk about it, whatever. Do you think maybe the tennis kind of gets? There's such a big shadow cast that it's hard to get any recognition when you are playing tennis.
I mean, I think we're bringing it back. We got 4 football players on the team now, because 2 seniors. It was me and Shane Nairn. He was the number 1 last year, so
right.
We both played football. We were talking about it in the locker room at football, and we got 2 seniors playing football now. They're working hard. I think they're getting better.
Okay, that's good. Coach Medford.
Yes.
Has there been an active recruiting of maybe athletes from I know that the athletes from fall sports are encouraged to play something in the spring, and so you're getting maybe some carryover from that in football. Have you or anyone actively been maybe recruiting some people saying, hey, you need to get out there and then give tennis a shot?
Not so much. I think they kind of did it themselves. We do have some soccer players too, which I think they're just athletic and they have the footwork and agility. So we'll probably push that a lot more next year because there's several seniors that are on the team. So we'll definitely have to push it up next year. But we're still building.
Okay.
We're excited.
All right. Let's go back here to the left. Coach Williamson, what would define a successful season for East Columbus boys tennis this year?
A successful season for us would be to win as many matches as possible and make it all the way back to regionals and then to state.
Tava, you agree with that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Here at South Columbus, Coach Burrows, what defines a successful boys tennis season?
Making it through the season with no injuries is one of the biggest things. Kids having a good time and enjoying themselves, and as they all was probably going to say, winning games and winning matches, and hopefully get in the highest position that we possibly can. But all in all, just when they get done at the end of the season, just be able to say, man, I loved playing tennis this year, and I can't wait for tennis to start again next year. That's what makes it successful for me and hopefully the boys. Just the love for it and the want to play.
Noah, anything to add to that?
I mean, as long as they feel like they played their best and had a good time, I feel like that's the goal.
Would you like, since this is going out live, would you like to send Mason a message that you're coming for him? He knows that. He knows that already, right?
I mean, I don't have anything there.
Okay. All right. Coach Edwards, successful season for West Columbus.
Sure. I echo what Coach Burrows and Coach Williamson said. All of us are very competitive. And I've coached with these guys for a while, and I'm excited to coach with the new coach at Whiteville. But we're all very competitive. We all want to win. We all want to be successful. We all want to build our programs. And I do want to thank you guys for broadcasting all the sports and getting tennis a little recognition. I think Columbus County Tennis is a very good county for tennis. We have a good tradition, and also we are all working very hard to build our programs, and I think that's exciting all the way around. But at the end of the day, I get excited and I get happy when I see them having fun and when I see them playing well and playing up to their potential. And I think if you have that success, it builds the program. It also builds their confidence, and they can thrive and go for the future. I am excited. I think that we'll get a little more experience this year, a little better record than we did last year. We have a lot coming back. We have some pieces that were back this year that weren't last year. So I'm excited to start, and I'm excited to see what we're working with.
Divine, anything you'd like to add?
Well, just like everyone else said, winning games and just coming closer as a team would be successful. Keeping that bond between us all, because at the end of the day, whether we win or whether we lose, we still have to deal with these same team members throughout the whole season.
Right.
So just keeping that bond and keep striving to work harder. That's it.
Okay, Coach Medford.
To be successful,
yeah,
our goals are we want to win some matches and get out there and get the guys having a good time and enjoying the game and enjoying the season and coming back.
Okay. Gavin?
Yeah, I agree. I think that as long as we get better every day, just get better every day and try to win some matches, we'll be fine. Have some fun with it.
I'm going to start here, and since it's your first year, you may not, and this is the last question,
okay.
And you being first year may not be as familiar with it as some of the other coaches. The elephant in the room in sports on the 1A level, especially like tennis, is you can have success in the conference, but you know that not too far up the ladder, if you go into the playoffs, you're going to run into a school where you're going to have 6 players out there, and all 6 of them probably have their own private coaches sitting there in the stands watching them play. Does that take something away from the competitive, where you know that the likelihood of a state championship because of what's up the road and the fact that there's no junior tennis program necessarily,
Mm-hmm.
you know, in Columbus County, and you don't have players that have been playing for 15 years, that type of thing. Does that take anything away from it?
I think if anything, it drives you to push harder. Yeah, I mean, yes, that is with tennis, and we don't have that building program, but
Right.
yeah, I think you just have to take that and let it push you to do your best.
Okay. WT?
Yeah, we've all had that discussion. There's a big debate within all of us between public schools, private schools, charter schools, you know, that kind of debate. When we get to that level and we try to go up there and fight for our guys, it's kind of hard. We're outnumbered a lot of times with what they have going on. And I know that they have experience, and that's not their fault, and they're taking advantage of that, and I appreciate that. But I agree that it has to drive us, it has to motivate us, because otherwise what do we have to shoot for?
Right.
So I think we have to, and that's our job as the coach, to try to get that mindset right, because tennis is very physical. It's a lot of footwork, a lot of agility, but it's also mental. Tennis is a very grueling game, and you have to play 1 point at a time. And I think that's the case when you look up the road at what you have coming forward. You got to realize that they're going to be there, and you have to prepare that way. So it might take extra time on a Saturday or on a Sunday when you're by yourself, and just letting these guys know that tennis is a lifelong game. You can play tennis your whole life. A lot of sports, baseball, football, basketball, you know, the main sports, a lot of times that team aspect is gone when you leave high school, or if you go into college, then that might be it. Tennis is a lifelong sport, so if we can get that in their mindset and kind of let them know that at any time, anything can happen with each point, I think that's important. So I'm excited about the opportunity to go against some of those schools again. I think that eventually we're going to get to a point where we do take one down, and it's going to be exciting for whoever it may be, so I'm excited to see what's to come.
Brett, you don't run into that quite as much on the 2A level, but you do run into schools that are more urban oriented than South Columbus that have players that have been playing for a number of years. Frustrating, challenging, how would you describe it?
Well, you know, I was exactly thinking in my mind about what you were saying. We play some of the city schools.
Right.
Like the girls, we played Carrboro, Chapel Hill this year. They came to our place, and I would much rather coach my girls than, you know, maybe some girls from the bigger schools because of just attitude and things like that. And it don't really bother me that they've been playing since they were, you know, 5 years old, that my kids are starting to play once they come into the 9th grade. You know, our biggest thing is to compete amongst each other.
Right.
I think that's our state championship, and if we can win a match in, you know, the state playoffs, you know, that's a positive. You know, there's probably not going to be a state championship, you know, in this area because of just where we live.
Right.
There's not a lot of private lessons going on and things like that. But, you know, it doesn't frustrate us. We know that when we play these schools that they're different than us. And our goals are more of a local level than, you know, a state level. And nobody hangs their head when we get beat by a Carrboro.
Right.
Because they know that they're a lot different, you know, than what we are. So I just think that the local competition is what drives our kids.
Okay.
and drives us as coaches. So.
Coach Williamson, firsthand experience with that last year.
Absolutely.
Raleigh Charter.
And the year before.
Yeah, so.
First round playoffs, always Raleigh Charter, and it's quite a different experience. But it is an experience in that it gives them such a challenge, and they can see, you know, firsthand that they are, like they were saying, they're different, they're better in so many aspects. But I'm kind of like Coach Burrows. I love the attitude of our players compared to some of the, you know, higher level schools, I guess you could say. They come out as a family, and I enjoy the camaraderie that we have among our coaches. We're all competitive. Like they said, I'm looking forward to working with Coach Medford. Hopefully she's as competitive, but hopefully she'll put up with Coach Burrows and Coach Edwards the way I have. And we have fun, and I like that. Although we're rival schools, we all are a family too, and I can really appreciate that. Our girls had a player that had a tumor and had to have surgery and couldn't play the rest of the season, and you know, Coach Burr's teams just stepped up with some gifts and, you know, showed love and outpouring, and I think that's what it's all about.
Right.
And I love playing at the county level.
Well, I appreciate everyone again taking time off from Saturday, and hopefully that we will make this an annual event and continue to shine the spotlight on all of the coaches and all of the players in all of the sports, because you're out there busting your butts and giving up your time, and I know how much you're getting paid. So it's because of your love of the sport and your love of the young people that you're working with is the reason you're out there. So hopefully this, a biscuit, a muffin, something to drink, and an opportunity to talk about your team a little bit made it worth coming out here on Saturday morning. So that's going to conclude our fourth segment with the boys tennis coaches and players here in Columbus County, and we'll be back for the fifth and final segment with track and field in just a moment. And welcome again to our final version of the 2017 Spring Sport coaches interviews. We have a member of the staff from South Columbus and Whiteville here representing their schools. West Columbus and East Columbus coaches had other obligations this morning and could not be with us here on this Saturday morning, but certainly appreciate all of you taking your time to be with us today to talk about the upcoming spring track and field season. And we were talking before this started that I would say of all the spring sports, maybe track and field is the one that is maybe the biggest shadow from the other sports is cast over and does not get the amount of recognition that is equal to the amount of work that is put in by the coaches and the athletes. And that's one reason why we wanted to do something like this today, to give you an opportunity to talk about your program and then some of the participants that you were counting on to do some things this year. So we'll start with South Columbus High School, Coach Misty Jarman. First of all, glad to have you with us here on this Saturday morning. Thank you for giving up your time.
Thank you for asking us to be here.
All right. So I'm going to just throw it out there to you and tell us a little bit about what some of the expectations are for. We'll start. You want to start with the girls, and I know you're got some information on the boys team as well, but we'll let you start with the girls team.
Okay. Well, I do have a number of new girls, freshmen, who have come up this season, and so far, we're looking for good sportsmanship. We're looking for good competition. We always enjoy the friendly rivalries with the other schools. It's, we want to beat someone, but we still have a good time when we don't. A lot of other athletes, they cheer for other teams. It's just nice to see that in this sport. They want everyone to do their best. And I anticipate some good challenges this year for my girls, especially the new ones.
Who are some of the names of the people that you do have returning that you expect to be some of your top competitors this year?
Most definitely Jada Prince. Right. She was one who went to regionals in the 100-meter dash and placed 6th there last year. So we're striving for state this year. She is a senior, so we're going to make sure that she goes out with a bang this year.
How are your numbers? And I know that softball typically gets softball's big in Columbus County. I mean, in the spring, let's face it. So a lot of girls gravitate towards that. But then there are only so many spots available, and in track, it's not like you've got 9 starters and then other people are looking for a way to get on the field. You can have multiple people running in multiple events. So track gives a lot of people an opportunity to actually participate and compete on equal terms with everyone else. Seems like that would be a good drawing card for the sport.
Oh yes. We definitely find a place for everyone who comes out. I actually have a few girls who did not go out for softball this year who have to come straight out to track. And I'm glad to have them. Looking forward to one in particular helping out with our shot put and discus program.
And another thing too is we'll just go 40-some miles down to 74, 76, where North Brunswick High School, their boys team, their success in track has carried over into their other sports. So I would think, too, where you've got whether or not they're typically a track athlete or not, someone that plays volleyball or someone that plays basketball or football player. I mean, football players aren't going to run girls track, but you know what I'm saying, would gravitate towards that because it's got to help them in their overall health and benefit them in the other sports they play.
Oh, yes. The football players and cheerleaders are encouraged to participate in track to get ready for the fall sports. Stay in shape, have something to do. And we do have the boys, there are football players on there, and I have a few cheerleaders who come out, and they want something to do other than just go home.
Okay. Now, you were telling me just before we came on live that the boys coach, I think, is involved in National Guard, and certainly that's an excused absence from this morning. But he did give you a few things to the boys team to talk to us about.
Yes, definitely. Coach Banks is very excited. He actually ran track in college, so he really knows what he's doing, and the boys are really excited. More so this year because of what he has done with them last year. So he has higher numbers this year. He even said the boys that they're excited about setting goals. They're excited about getting the track season started this year.
Okay, very good. All right, let's go down here and talk to Coach Will Dorn for the Whiteville Wolfpack. If you live in the Whiteville area, you may not know the name, but you would probably recognize him because you've seen him running the streets of Whiteville, as he's a pretty avid runner himself. First of all, Coach Dorn, thanks for being with us this morning.
Thank you for having us out here. Really appreciate it.
We'll start with the girls' side of track at Whiteville High School. What are you looking for this season?
Looking to build on the success that we've had over the past couple years. 2 years ago, our girls' team won the 1A Mid-East Regional Championships. Last year, we won our first conference championship since 2003, so we're really looking to build on that success and looking forward to having some good competition in the conference. It seems like all the teams in the conferences over the past few years have been getting better and better and really pushing our athletes, so looking forward to that.
Have you seen over the past couple of years maybe an increase in the interest in the girls running track?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I believe the first year when I started coaching here at Whiteville, this is now my 7th year. That first year, I believe we only had 10 girls, and we've been consistently bringing out 25 girls for track, and then also building the program through cross country and indoor track, which we added last year.
You had a couple of girls that I think had some success in the state meet in 2016 that you have returning for you this year. Tell us a little bit about them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We brought a number of girls and boys to the state meet last year. One of them being Zoria McDonald here. She placed second in the 300 hurdles. She's come back this year, ready to go, ready to get that first place after being a freshman and placing 4th the year before that. So we're bringing back some girls, and we've also same as Coach Jarman was saying, that we've actually been able to get some softball girls to come over to our team as well. So we're excited about that.
All right, let's slide it over to Zoria and let her tell us a little bit. 4th, 2nd. There's only one other place to go, right? First.
Right.
Why track? What attracted you to track? I know there's not a middle school track program or whatever. So, do you just like to run?
Well, people have always told me I'm fast and that I've had a good stride going in my younger years. So, I wanted to come to high school and make something of it.
Okay. And 300-meter hurdles, right?
Right.
Did you just find out that you had a knack for the hurdles? Was it something that you had experimented with and said, hey, I'm good at this, and decided that you'd stay with it?
Okay. One day at practice, I think it was my freshman year, yes. One day, Coach Dorn had us doing 400s, and we had come around I seen Coach Senior Frank doing his hurdles, so I asked my coach if I can do it. So I jumped over a hurdle and started off doing 100-meter hurdles, and then they gradually put me on 300, and I had ran a good time doing that at practice, so, it went up from there.
I would imagine, you can look at me and tell that I'm not a track athlete and probably never was a track athlete, but I would imagine that track practice may be more challenging to really enjoy than maybe some of the other sports. I mean, if you're practicing basketball, you're still getting to shoot the basketball, and if you're practicing baseball, you're still getting to hit and those type things. But when you are at track practice, you may be competing against some of your teammates, but it's more, you know, you're working on your stamina, you're working on your strides, you're working on your technique. Is it, do you enjoy meets a whole lot more than practice, or do you enjoy practice also?
Practice makes perfect. If you don't go to practice, how do you expect to get better for the meets?
Right.
You always have to push yourself at practice to get better, you know, over gradually. You got to look at the outlook on things. So, yeah.
Okay. What about Coach Dorn? Is Coach Dorn pretty much one that's going to stay on top of things and
Yes,
make
he
sure
most
you're doing things
definitely
right?
pushes us to do our best and perform well, keep our mind in the right place, you know, to run meets and stuff.
Okay. Coach Dorn, let's go back to you a moment. Tell us a little bit about the progression that she's made over the past couple of years.
So, yeah, as far as numbers go, that like she was saying, that first day at practice when she ran that 300 hurdles, I was just blown away. That I'd never had a girl run under a minute in the 300 hurdles, and she broke a minute that first day at practice without anyone pushing her. So, and then by the end of her freshman year, she'd gotten down to, I believe, 54 seconds, which got her fourth in the state. I wish she'd actually been in the fast heat for that first state championship. That I believe she could have gotten a higher place even than that. And then last year, she really dropped her time down to 47.5 at the state championship, which was pretty incredible. She's also and that just happens to be her best event.
Right.
She really, any event we put her in, I believe that she can score points for us. That she high jumped for us last year. She was a member of the 4x100 and 4x200 relays. At conference, we put her. She hadn't really been training for the 100 hurdles. We put her in that, and she ended up coming in first. Hadn't run a 100 hurdles all year. So she's been working hard, and then also this year during indoor season, just getting in shape, getting ready for this year.
Do you have a lot of your girl athletes that participate in multiple events, or do you see, is that what they seem to prefer, or do they like to individualize?
Well, kind of what I try to do is during the regular season, I try to limit the number of events that they're going to run in. I don't want them burned out. But then when it comes to big meets like conference championships or regional championships, sometimes we have to put them in multiple events.
Right.
So I'd say probably on average, most of the girls run 2 events per meet, but we have to spread it out to make sure we get coverage in all of the events.
Okay, I want to go back to Coach Jarman with the same question. What do you find with your girls at South Columbus? Do they like to concentrate on a specific event, or do they like the opportunity to maybe do 3 or 4 different things?
I have found in the past 8 years that our sprinters really like to be in 3 or 4 events. They really like that competition. Our distance runners, 2, they're good with 2 events. Some of them I put them in more than just 2, just because I don't have the numbers as other teams do. So I do have had a couple of distance runners run 4 events as well.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you, that sometimes, despite the fact that they may want to focus on 1 or 2, to be competitive on a team basis where everybody's earning points, then having that depth and having people in multiple events. But it sounds like you're getting some more people out where you're going to have some additional depth this year.
Oh, yes, definitely. I'll be able to spread them out better this year.
Okay. All right, Coach Dorn, boys side of track at Whiteville High School.
Well, let's see, boys. Unfortunately, Coach Singletary couldn't be here, but our boys track is looking pretty good. We've brought out a lot of athletes, especially from the football team this year. That this is going to be their first year running. It looks like we're bringing in some talent, and then. Coming out of indoor season, we got Tony Grimes right here that placed 10th overall in the 55 hurdles at the state championships, and that's a 1A, 2A state championship. So he had to compete against 2A schools as well, and he ended up having the fastest time out of all the 1A runners. So we were real happy with that performance, and so he's going to be a leader on that team, and we got good coaching staff that's between Coach Singletary and then Coach Roosevelt Colson and Coach Greer Inman. We're all working together, and I believe we're going to have success on both sides of the both teams this year.
Now, to qualify for the indoor meet, I think the actual meet that he qualified in was an outdoor meet. You have to meet a specific time, right?
Yes, sir. You have to meet a specific time in order to qualify for those for the state championship in indoor, and they call those polar bear meets. That they're held outdoors since there's only a handful of indoor tracks in the state. Most of the indoor meets end up being outdoors. So.
Right. All right, well, let's go to Tawny and talk a little bit about that experience. What was it like to run in the state finals and actually run an indoor meet indoors?
Well, I was kind of nervous at first. When I first got there, I was kind of nervous, because I was messing up on my hurdles and things like that when I got there, So I went and talked to Coach about it. He told me to calm down and everything. So I stepped to the side, prayed to God, got on my knees and prayed, and then just got out there and did my thing. And then once I did good.
Fantastic. How did you get started hurdling? How did you know that you could run fast and jump over things at the same time?
Well, we had a coach my freshman year. He taught us how to jump the hurdles, and I wasn't all that good, but once we had track meets, I got better at it and getting great at it.
I noticed, too, that you were recently the McDonald's Spotlight athlete, and you gave one of your teammates, Jared Small, some credit, too, for helping you out. And he's been had some success in the hurdles as well, but you credited him with teamwork and working together.
Yes, sir.
Coach Dorn, what would you say the strength of the Whiteville program? Sprints, distance, field.
I think our strength is in balance. That we've got some good teams in the conference. Like St. Paul's tends to dominate the field events, as far as girls go and boys, Red Springs has got a lot of good sprinters. I think our strength is in our balance, that we try to put at least 3 people in every event when it comes down to that conference meet, and we've always had success in the distance events, but in hurdles we hold our own when it comes to the sprints and the relays. Field events we need to work on, but we brought in some new athletes this year that I think are going to really help us in the field events.
Okay, let me ask each one of your athletes. If is there anyone in particular that you're looking forward to competing against this year? Any team or any individual that was a challenge last year that you're going to run against this year? Either one of you can start. I don't care.
St. Paul's. That's who I think, because they're real good competition. They have the speed and everything, so they're a great competition.
Okay.
I would say North Brunswick. They bring a lot of strong athletes, and I like running against their sprinters, kind of to push myself to be better. They're a 3A school, and when you're 1A, we kind of get a bad rep because we're such a small numbers. So yeah.
Yeah, and that's been kind of the tone that has gone through everything that we've said when we've talked about scheduling. Scheduling's different from the other sports because of seeding and overall record and that type of thing. But everybody else has said, if we're going to get better, we've got to play teams that are as good, if not better than us, so we know what we need to improve on. So I guess it's the same thing with you as track athletes. If you're running against inferior competition all the time, then you really have nothing to gauge yourself by, right?
Right.
Okay. Coach Jarman, sprints, distance, field events. What would you say the best part of the South Columbus program is?
Our strongest in the past several years has been our sprinters. Distance, we have 2 actually graduated last year who always placed. We lost them, Kayla Teleke and Megan Gore. They may not have been first all the time, but they would place and earn points for our team. So it's kind of twofold. You're individual, but you're also with the team. It's two aspects for it. But our sprinters are consistently stronger at our program.
Okay. Well, I had a note to mention this, but with West Columbus not present, I'm still going to say it anyway, that, Fred Evans had an outstanding track career at West Columbus and did well in state events and whatever, and it's just unfortunate that they couldn't have found the 7th year of eligibility for Fred over there at West. I've told Fred on several occasions that I think that he may have been a freshman when I was a senior in high school, but he was around for quite some time, but did do very well and brought some positive prestige to Columbus County High School track. I'm just going to leave it up to we'll do ladies first, and we'll start with Coach Jarman and just any final comments that you'd like to make.
I ran track and cross country in high school. I was better at cross country. The longer I ran, it seemed the better I did. One thing I love about track is that it's not just a sport you can do and enjoy in high school. It can be something you enjoy your whole life. Coach Dorn still runs. I still run. I know other coaches, they still run in their adult lives. It's something you can take with you into adulthood beyond just the high school or college career.
And there's definitely a lot to be said for that. Absolutely. Final comments?
Yeah, I just wanted to thank you for having us out here, and I definitely agree with what Coach Jarman was saying. That it's a great sport. I'm really pleased with the direction it's going here in Columbus County, and looking forward to a good season. And that's about it.
Okay. Well, we do again appreciate you taking your time out on Saturday morning to do this and get some, again, the spotlight needs to be on all of the coaches, all of the athletes participating, because everybody is putting in a lot of effort, and people need to recognize that it's not, it's not just baseball or softball in the spring. There are a lot of other things going on and a lot of excellent performances that are taking place. And we hope to continue to hear a lot of good things about your programs. So thank you very much.
Thank you.